Good evening. Welcome to the City Council meeting of the City of San Juan Bautista, Tuesday, April 15th, tax day, at 5 o'clock. I'd like to now call the meeting to order. Councilmember Aranda, can you start us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
All right. Please join me in the lead of the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. May I have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Aranda,
Here.
Councilmember Frios,
Here.
Councilmember Morris Lopez,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Sabathia, Mayor Jordan.
Here. Thank you. We are going into closed session for two items: conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, Orozco versus City of San Juan Bautista et al. California Government Code Section 54956.9 D1, and conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, significant exposure to litigation pursuant to paragraph 2 or 3 of subdivision D of section 54956.9 E2, enforcement action by State Water Resources Control Board, and an additional matter with facts and circumstances that might result in litigation which are not yet known to a potential plaintiff.
Ooh.
Thank you very much for this. I appreciate it. Do we have any public comment before we go into closed session?
Seeing no hands raised on Zoom and nobody in chambers, Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much. We are now adjourning to closed session, and we will be back at 6 p.m. Thank you. I'm waiting for the boss. I'm waiting. I'm good. Ready? Hi, welcome all back to the regular city council meeting of the City of San Juan Bautista, Tuesday, April 15th at 6:05. City Attorney, can you please take us out of closed session?
Yes, thank you, Mayor, members of the council and public. The city council members met in closed session on items 2A, conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, Orozco versus City of San Juan Bautista, California Government Code Section 54956.9 D1. The council heard from the city attorney on the case, and there's nothing to report out on that matter. And on 2B, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, significant exposure to litigation pursuant to paragraph 2 or 3 of subdivision D of section 54956.9 E2, enforcement action by State Water Resources Control Board, and an additional matter with facts and circumstances that might result in litigation, which are not yet known to a potential plaintiff. The council also heard from outside counsel on that matter, and there's nothing to report out.
Thank you. Public comment. Do we have any public comment in chambers on items not on the agenda?
Yes, we do. Michael Ponce.
Hi, Michael, welcome.
Hello, Michael Ponce, 803 First Street. Yeah, I just want to talk about spring cleaning in town. I would suggest that the powers to be, whoever that might be, would take a drive through Main Street, our historic business district, and take a look, preferably early in the morning. I take my grandson to school every morning. I drive through Main Street, and it's an eyesore. If you look at the state park wall, the weeds are almost 2 feet tall there. Along the curbs on Main Street, we got weeds everywhere. The side streets are the same. I just think that we should be more proactive in cleaning up the town. We've lost 3 major businesses. We're looking to, how would I say, sell ourselves to potential business is, and if somebody comes into town and they see this and like, why would I want to do business here? Look at, they can't even cut the weeds. It looks like it's unmaintained. The end of the month, we got probably our biggest crowd visiting San Juan in the rib cook-off that we're gonna have this year. Let's show it off to these people. San Juan, nice, clean town, someplace that you want to go and repeatedly visit. And maybe some potential business owners that would want to come into town. Our sales tax is 1/3 of our general fund budget. Losing 3 major businesses, I'm sure that has dwindled. If we can get more businesses coming into town and beef up that sales tax, it'll help us out tremendously. We got a lot of things going on, gonna cost a lot of money. So I'm just thinking of ways to improve that. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
Bob Quaid.
Thank you. Hi, Bob. Welcome. Is your green light, is your green light lit?
No, it isn't.
No. I told you I didn't want it. Anyway, I'm here representing the Spirit of San Juan Bautista. And so the Spirit of San Juan Bautista was, one of the founding members was Richard Ponce. And Richard Ponce was an active member in San Juan, was on the city council at one time. And when he passed away, money was donated to the Spirit of San Juan Bautista in his memory. And so we had that money sitting there for quite a few years. And so we asked the Ponce family, which is Michael's father, and we asked the Ponce family what they would like us to do in memory of Richard Ponce, and they suggested a bench. And so we thought, okay, we'll get a bench built. And so we contacted a local craftsman here in town. Joe Claus lives down the street here. And he's going to build a bench for us. And the bench was going to cost us $2,300 roughly. And so we thought, well, where we're going to put it, where we're going to put this bench. And so we thought, well, how about down on Main Street where a lot of tourists are and people like to sit on benches. And there's a kiosk down there that has the historical maps. And so we thought it'd be right there. It's right next to where Inaka's used to be. Actually, Richard's family used to have a Mexican restaurant right there. So we thought that was the perfect place for it. Well, we came to the city and, well, we thought, well, before we put that bench, we better check with the city to make sure it's okay. We don't want to just, go out and just stick a bench downtown without permission. So we asked what the process was to put a bench down. And so the staff got back to us. And so we were a little flabbergasted, or at least I was, on the process to put a little bench downtown, because it requires a historical resource design review, major project. It's a major project. I don't know, a little bench cost us $2,000. Didn't seem too major to us, but the fee for that is $1,575, $1,575 for this is just to put an application in to put a bench down. We have to pay $1,575. Then we'd also have to get an encroachment permit, and because we're installing on public property, and that turns out to be roughly anywhere from $500 to $670, depending on what the value of our project. So overall, the bench was going to cost us more than almost as much as to purchase the bench. So I think it's ridiculous that, and that's just to get before the planning commission to get it approved. That's not my time.
Thank
Well,
you.
I'm gonna take a couple more minutes.
Cannot.
Well,
Thank you very much.
anyway,
Thank you, Bob.
that's just to apply. So
Thank
we
you.
need to change things. And how are businesses coming to town?
Thank you, Bob.
Linda again?
Hello there. I have a business.
Hi, Linda. Welcome.
I have a business on Fourth Street. I'm in my 10th year here with San Juan Bautista. It's Vintage Rose Antiques and Collectibles. Michael took most of the words out of my mouth. I've pulled weeds on my block many times before and I'm in the process, but the weeds in front of the Mission is horrible. The businesses are really hurting. As you can see, we lost 3 major businesses, and if they can't make it, imagine us small business owners are doing. We need, I don't know what it is, we need some more support from our city council. None of you I recognize. None of you I recognize as just coming into my business and saying hi and who you are. We need to hear from our council people. Another thing, one was the weeds. The other one is the barrels. I don't know who takes care of those barrels, but they look awful. And I do realize people pick startings off of those. And after an event, they're not put back in the proper place. Some are in the crosswalk, but they look terrible. They're not even symmetrically. So I don't know who's in charge of that. The other thing that I'd like to see come back is we used to have a flag rule where you flew the American flag. And we've gotten away from that. And it, to me, doesn't look that good that there's all different kinds of different flags. I've even been guilty of that. I put seasonal flags up there, but I'd like to see the American flag come back. The other thing is there's some buildings on 3rd Street that need to be painted. And I know that is the business owner's responsibility. I don't know if there's somebody, what committee, write a letter to these business owners to clean up their property, because as tenants, we pay them rent and that's all we can do. That's it.
Thank you.
David Rodriguez?
Hello, Dave
Hi, David.
Rodriguez.
Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. And sorry I'm late to the party. But yeah, just to kind of underscore some of these other comments regarding code enforcement and some of the red tape that's necessary to put in a bench. Seems like maybe the city can maybe waive those kind of red taped fees, or maybe help offset it with some other funds that we may have allotted, because it seems like definitely the heart's in their right place with wanting to put a bench out. It shouldn't be so difficult, especially if the city's not paying for the actual bench. And this is going to be a public positive piece to the city to have pretty much people that are coming in from out of town, visitors, to have a place to sit down and have ice cream and enjoy the town. So that's one piece of it. The other piece is tidying up the city, trying not to lose any more businesses. I mean, that is a super thorn in everybody's side, because especially if you're part of the city and you want to go have sushi, well, now you have to go to Hollister, or you have to go to Gilroy or Monterey. So those sorts of items are super important, and more bathrooms. But so if we think smarter, I mean, it doesn't make sense to bring up this item of picking up the city, because if we already have people part of the city that are responsible to do that, of course, city council, that's your overall oversight, city manager, then you have code enforcement. Now, if you look at the job duties of code enforcement, it should be relying on them, not only to enforce, but also educate patrons, everybody. And it doesn't mean that we need to spend lots of money to pick up the city. That means maybe we just need to implement a program that everyone as a collective can help clean up the city, bring in new businesses, keep our existing businesses, and we all benefit. So that's it. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
No other speaker cards in council chambers, but we do have a hand raised on Zoom, Madam Mayor. Shauna Frios.
Thank you. Hi, Shauna, welcome.
Hi, thank you, Madam Mayor. City Council, Shauna Friels. I am the chair of the Roses House organization, which put in the historic walking trail map kiosk that Mr. Quaid was just speaking of. The city waived all fees and generously offered to help us assist in putting that kiosk in. And it wasn't a hard thing to do. The city was very generous at the time. And I don't see any reason why the city would want to prohibit such a beautiful memorial of Mr. Ponce. And as everyone else has already spoken about, the town really needs that. And so I just really want to support what Mr. Quaid and his organization want to do. And I just really ask that the council consider helping them out. Thank you.
Thank you.
And seeing no hands raised, no other hands raised on Zoom, Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much. Thank you all for your comments. Proclamations, Water Awareness Month, May 2025. Water Resources Association of San Benito County, Jennifer Cosio Aureliano, Water Conservation Program Manager, Water Resources Association of San Benito County. Hi,
Okay.
how are you?
Hi, how are you, Mayor?
I am good, thank you.
Good evening,
Uh,
everyone.
Proclamation first or presentation first? Proclamation first? Copy that, my turn.
Go ahead.
Water Awareness Month, May 2025. Whereas California's arid and semi-arid climate is ambitious and evolving economy and its growing population have combined to make water shortages and conflicting demands the norm. And whereas the rising concern of climate change could limit the state and federal government's water infrastructure due to less snowpack and environmental concerns in the Delta. And whereas the water supply for San Benito County's water agencies is derived from a variety of sources, including local groundwater, watersheds, and reservoirs, water imported and contracted through the United States Bureau of Reclamation by way of the Central Valley and San Felipe projects, and recycled water. And whereas the health, welfare, and quality of water for life for our community depends on a reliable, high-quality water supply. And whereas municipal agencies and governments continue to seek cost-effective and efficient systems to obtain and deliver water to meet the needs of residents, agriculture, and the economy. And whereas the state, county, cities, and concerned citizens make strong efforts to foster wise decisions concerning water issues and water use. And whereas the fact that California will experience periodic droughts and water conservation is critical, not only during drought periods, but at all times. And whereas during May 2025, the city of San Juan Bautista is inviting everyone to find out ways to save water, both at work and at home. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Jordan, on behalf of the City of San Juan Bautista City Council, do hereby proclaim May 2025 as Water Awareness Month and urge all residents, businesses, industries, institutions, and public agencies to review their water use and water systems for water use efficiency and to contact the Water Resources Association of San Benito County for water saving ideas and assistance.
Good evening, council members and the public. I'm going to be doing a quick presentation on Water Awareness Month. Hopefully it won't take too much of your time.
Is your light green?
It is, yes.
Okay. Can you speak a little closer to the mic?
Yes,
Thanks.
of course.
There you go.
All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Jennifer. I'm the Water Conservation Program Manager. Today I'm going to be talking a bit about Water Awareness Month and water conservation. Let's skip to the next. Oh, perfect. Thank you. So the purpose of Water Awareness Month is to bring awareness to the importance of water conservation, especially in San Benito County. Today, I'm going to be talking about the programs, rebates, and some water conservation tips to the residents here in San Juan Bautista. So water conservation. Water conservation is crucial, especially during the month of May, because it is when the irrigation season begins. So as the season begins to get warmer and we're heading into the warmer summer months, we have to be very wary of our water use. So what we provide is, most people, they need to change their irrigation systems to adjust for the weather. We are able to help out residents in the city of San Juan Bautista to do home water surveys. We can go to your home and adjust your systems for you. Since water is a finite resource, we want to make sure to take very great care of it. We have to make sure we conserve our supplies, even if we are in a drought or if we are not in the season of a drought. Since we use water as, we use it daily. So here are some water conservation tips. I'm gonna go over outdoor. It is very important now that the season is starting to get warmer to irrigate your grass in the morning before 9 a.m. and after.
No.
Okay, no worries. So it is very important when watering your lawn to water it very early in the morning, preferably before 6 a.m., but you can water it before 9 a.m. and after 9 p.m. This is to avoid evaporation. And also make sure, like I said, your irrigation system is scheduled accordingly to the season. We want to avoid any runoff or overwatering. We highly stress to use drip irrigation instead of a regular sprinkler system. You can come to us so we can supply you with supplies. What we really want to enforce, if you can, to replace your grass lawn to drought tolerant or low water use landscaping. For indoor tips, you can go ahead and upgrade to low flow appliances such as aerators, low flow toilets, and shower heads. And make sure you check your faucets for leaks. Now, what our association offers are rebates. So the one that we try to offer to San Juan residents is our turf removal program, in which we pay $2 per square foot of turf that you remove. So the minimum is 100 square feet to remove your grass, up to 1,000 square feet. So you can get between $200 to $2,000 by replacing your lawn. We really stress this because your lawn is the highest source of water use in your home. So if you're interested, please contact us. We also have the landscape hardware rebate. It's a $100 rebate towards any landscape hardware. Again, reach out to us. We'll help you do the process for the rebate. And our other water conservation rebate is the ultra low flush toilets. This is a rebate and also a free program where we supply you with a low flush toilet. Essentially, you can call us if you're interested. The toilet has to be pre-1992 for you to qualify, and the rebate would be $75 for a low flow toilet. Our biggest program is our free home water surveys. If you suspect that you have a leak, if you get a high water bill and you want us to go out to verify, we do a free inspection. So our technician will go out to your home and do a thorough inspection of the indoor and outdoor of your property. And we can also fix minor leaks or any adjustments that you may need to your irrigation systems. Here above is the QR codes for our Instagram and our Facebook. If you want to give us a follow, we post everything about our programs, our rebates, any water conservation information. You can contact us through our social media, or you can also give us a call at 831-637-4378 to make an appointment for any of our rebates. It's 831-637. It's up on the screen as well. 4378.
Thank you. And at the
Correct.
bottom of your screen.
Does anybody have any questions?
Councilmember Aranda.
No, just wanted to say thank you for that presentation.
Of
Thank you.
course. Thank you, everybody.
Councilmember Friels.
No, thank you for the presentation.
Councilmember Morris Lopez. Thank
And-
you. I just want to say that the slides are way better than what Sean used to do. Thank you.
Of course.
Do we have public comment?
Oh, I think my toilet.
Linda, I'm sorry. Can you please step to the microphone and state your name?
My name is Linda again. I was just curious how much your program covers. You're saying you provide new toilets because I think mine's from the 1900s. How much you provide? Just 75 off? Or are you providing a toilet? Yeah, go for it.
So for the toilets, there are two programs. So we either, if you want, we either provide a free toilet. And we have to verify that your toilet is older than 1992. Or you can do the rebate, which is $75. So you can buy your own toilet, let's say at Lowe's or Home Depot, and you show us the receipt and we'll give you the $75 rebate. You have to return the 1992 toilet back to us. And it's up to 2 toilets per household. Okay?
Thank you very much. I'm sorry, we can't ask questions like that. If you have public comment, you have to, go ahead, sorry. If you have public comment, you must fill out a speaker card. Thank you very much.
Of course. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
No, exactly. I think with everyone's regarding the sentiments is that I think you come from a great place and these are great programs. I mean, water, I mean, especially I come from the Valley, Fresno area, and it's very dry there. And so to conserve in such a lush area, I guess, I'm sorry, is great. And to improve that and mitigate any water loss is great. I think there are a few things that we can do in that I think might help with that. And maybe it's more teach the teacher on this. And like, let's say, as an example, the city can provide an example of this. And that is, notice outside we have grass and maybe illustrate to the city.
Can you please speak into the microphone? Sorry for the
Sorry.
interruption.
We can illustrate to the city and provide an example for the citizens. This is I don't know what you would call it, a dry irrigation system. You tell me, is that what it's called? Dry landscape? Drought tolerant landscape. Something we could illustrate to the community right here that. And maybe have a little patch of grass and just say the differences, but great programs. I mean, half the battle is actually being able to present that to the community to where they are, where it makes sense, where you have a clear message on how to do that. A lot of people, I guess, and that kind of goes back to also people are maybe not so, I'm trying to articulate the words, efficient in, maybe they have, and this kind of goes back to let's do a check. They're probably watering their weeds and other unnecessary things. So all great things, get the message out. I don't know how that's done, but we could start with the city right here and say, hey, put up a sign saying, hey, don't water your weeds. Let's try to save. And maybe provide some metrics on this is where we're at. This is where we're at the following year. This is where we're at the previous year, and this is how much better we're doing. Kind of give us all a goal to aim for. That's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
If anyone has any questions from the public about our programs, like I said, if you want to give us a follow on our social media, we have all that information on there as well as our website. So if anybody wants to learn some new stuff about water conservation, feel free to give me a call or visit our website and our social media platforms.
Thank you very much. We appreciate you. Sorry, I lost my page now. Proclamation number 2, National Preservation Month, May 2025, to the Historical Society. Do we have anybody from the Historical Society in chambers or on?
Yeah, he's
Come on up, please. You're gonna. That's okay. You're accepting a proclamation today on behalf of the Historical Society. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. Councilmember Morris
Okay.
Lopez, take it away.
Yes, National Preservation Month, May 2025. Let me put that over here. Okay. Whereas May is National Preservation Month and historic preservation is relevant for communities across the nation, both urban and rural, and for Americans of all ages, all walks of life, and all ethnic backgrounds. And whereas it is important to celebrate the role of history in our lives and the contributions made by dedicated individuals in helping to preserve the tangible aspects of the heritage that has shaped us as a people. And whereas a historic preservation is an effective tool for managing growth and sustainable development, revitalizing neighborhoods, fostering local pride, and maintaining community character while enhancing livability. And whereas the city of San Juan Bautista supports adaptive reuse and the Secretary of the Interior standard for the treatment of historic properties, in quotes, intended to promote responsible preservation practices that help our nation's irreplaceable cultural resources. And whereas San Juan Bautista Council and its Historical Resources Board Planning Commission invite all residents and preservation enthusiasts to make the month of May an opportunity for discovering, rediscovering, honoring, and sharing the unique heritage of San Juan Bautista, in quotes, City of History. And now, therefore, I, Mayor Jordan, on behalf of the San Juan Bautista City Council, do hereby proclaim May 2025 as National Preservation Month and call upon the citizens of San Juan Bautista to join their fellow citizens across the United States in recognizing and participating in the special observance.
Thank you.
And I just want to say this is so appropriate because we just had public comment on our historic Third Street and some of the buildings that need a little bit of TLC. So what better month to kick this off and maybe all work together to help make that happen somehow. Go.
You're adorable. Thanks, Bob.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. Administrative report, treasurer's report and monthly financial statements. Wendy?
I'm here.
Hi, Wendy.
Good evening. You have in your pack tonight the financial report as at February 28th. 8 months of the fiscal year, or 67% of the fiscal year. Your general fund revenues are at 65% of the year to date. And your general fund expenditures are at 60% for the year to date. The net effect is a positive change in the general fund balance of $213,000. Water enterprise funds revenues are at 68% for the year. Expenses are at 56%. Overall, this provides a positive change in the enterprise fund balance for the year of $695,000. Sewer enterprise fund revenues are at 70% for the year to date. Expenses are at 65%. And the net effect is a positive change in the sewer enterprise price fund balance of $684,000 for the year.
Thank you. Questions, comments, concerns from the council? Councilmember Aranda?
No questions or comments. Thank you, Wendy.
Thank you. Councilmember Friels?
No questions, thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Morris Lopez?
Just a comment, and this is basically, I had a conversation with city manager Ashley Collick, because this is mostly for the public. If you want to look at the insert where we have the checks payable, if you see large amounts, because for me, what gets a red flag is anything that passes 15K to 20K, then I'm looking at who's that check going to? Why is it that much money? So anyway, I highlighted a few, and our biggest expenditures, but really it's money that came to us via a loan or a grant, and that's with the water project. So that gave me great relief when I saw checks going out 2 times on February 5th, one for 763K and the other for 779K. I'm like, wow, that's almost 1.5 million. But that was in the form of loan money and grant. But everything else, appears to be in order. So it's kind of interesting to look at how much money we are moving out of our small city, and we're doing well with our budget. So this is very promising that we can manage all this money and stay afloat. Thank you.
Thank you. I have nothing. Thank you very much, Wendy. Hang on though. Do we have any public comment?
No speaker cards received, and seeing no hands raised on Zoom, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Back to council. Anything else? Thank you very much, Wendy. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you. I will be hanging out for the further discussions.
Sure. Have fun with that. Items on the consent agenda. Would any member from the council wish to pull an item from the consent agenda?
Yeah, I'd like to pull C, E, and H.
C, E, and H. Okay. Councilmember Friels?
I wanted to pull C and F.
C and F. Councilmember Morris Lopez. Thank you. Okay. Would any members from the public wish to pull an item for discussion?
Madam Mayor, we have one speaker card for item F and a public comment received via email for item F as well.
Okay, thank you. Oops. Okay, may I have a motion to approve item A, B, D, G, and I?
So moved.
I'll second.
A, B, D, G, and I. Motion made by Councilmember Aranda, seconded by Councilmember Friels. Sorry, all you.
Councilmember Aranda,
Yes.
Councilmember Frios.
Yes.
Councilmember Morris Lopez,
Yes.
Mayor Jordan.
Yes,
Motion carried.
thank you. Councilmember Aranda, C.
I wanted to pull this item out just because I, I'm getting complaints out that, we're gonna be closing down the street on, I believe is it Thursday night or,
Yes,
yeah,
I believe
Thursday night.
Thursday.
And with our struggling businesses in town, I'm just a little concerned that we're closing a little too early. Obviously we have JJ's that's open around that time. And I just want to be cognizant of making sure that, it is a Thursday night. People do go out, and I want to ensure that, people can access these restaurants and we're not impacting the businesses in downtown now that we're in dire straits here. So, I would like to see if maybe we can adjust that time to 7 p.m. Just to kind of give them a little more, give the general public access to these restaurants or wherever on Thursday night, when they're coming home. So that would be something I'd like to see. Totally not related to this, but I would also like to see later, the how many people are actually attending this event, and we consider about this later, but I want to know from Spirit of San Juan, what it looks like on a Thursday night. I know they have some software that they can track how many people come in. And so I'd like to see what that looks like for Thursday. And so maybe we can work with them to see what those numbers are, as well as how it looks like for that festival. Just curious, and how that impacts our businesses. And then other than that, just following up with Jason Williams to understand, I want to see from a city's perspective of how much revenue that event is generating for our city. So that's all I had to say.
Thank you. Councilmember Friels.
Okay, I'm not in favor of closing it a fourth day. And there's a few reasons. One, it's difficult enough for the people who live and the businesses who live and work in downtown to get their trash out on the Friday. There is no plan on what these folks are to do with the street closed. And do they have to drag their garbage cans all the way down to 4th Street? And we normally put them out on Thursday. So cans can only be out on the street 2 nights. So they're going to put them out on Wednesday night. They're going to drag them down to 4th Street. And and if this promoter left our streets cleaner than he found them, I would be probably a little bit okay with it. But this is the second year now where he's left debris and junk in our streets, and I don't want to give him another night. That's just my opinion. So I'm not in favor of 4 days of closure. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Morris Lopez.
Yes, thank you. I also agree with Councilmember Friels. I wasn't aware that they were asking for the 4th day. I mean, originally it was a 2-day weekend event, which was, I think, appropriate. And they've gone to 3 days and now 4 days. And just as Councilmember Aranda said, it really affects and impacts the businesses downtown, the small businesses. We have a few restaurants that are still up and standing. We lost a couple took some big hits with Anaka and Doña Esther's, and I know JJ's had to move locations, maybe not in the best spot for him. So all this, we have to really put our money where our mouth is, because we are talking about how can we help small businesses. I think this is really counterproductive to give this out of town huge event promoter a 4th day, and for all the reasons that Councilmember Friel said as well. I think 2 was perfect. We're probably stuck with 3. Definitely, I think the ask tonight is for the 4th, and I say no.
Thank you. Did we not approve this a while ago?
Yes.
Go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. Appreciate the opportunity to speak on this item. This rib cook-off road closure has already been approved by the council. They're requesting closure on Thursday afternoon or evening, 5 p.m. To set up because their event days are actually Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So they're asking for an opportunity to set up before their Friday start time. So I just want to make sure I clarified that. The original approval was for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. They're asking for the road to be closed on Friday, starting at 5 p.m. To set up. That was the request. We didn't catch that early enough to put that before you the first time around, so that's why we're asking now. I wanted to talk a little bit about we will look into potential revenues. I believe that what we collect right now are permit fees. And also staff time and other issues that go in with the special event permitting. So we can follow up with you on exactly what we collect for special events. I have heard, I thank you for bringing up the issue with the cleanliness and the trash. We have been working diligently with Mr. Williams for all of his events, and that has come up, and we've set up some inspection time for the Monday after his event to walk through and make note of any issues that we have, so that we understand moving forward, what needs to be done. And we did that for the arts and crafts event. So he's well aware of what our standards are. And then in terms of change of time, obviously that's completely up to the council.
Thank you. And then his permit didn't say anything originally about the setup on Thursday night?
No.
Okay, thank you. I'll bring it back to council. Questions, comments, concerns from public in chambers, and then we'll do Zoom land.
David Rodriguez.
Hi, David, welcome.
Hi, thank you. Sorry to be so chatty this evening, but I'm trying to take as much time as possible to help hopefully improve the city. Understand that from a business perspective that yes, this event comes in, they bring in lots of people. It does impact the businesses twofold or probably multiple folds because one, it kind of clutters up the city. It reduces the amount of business that people can take in, but it brings in other people. So maybe as a offset to mitigate the damage, instead of just, hey, let's add in additional staff, maybe there needs to be a premium on that where we can maybe add that back to the businesses that we charge Mr. Williams, so we can enhance and offset that the small businesses with charging Mr. Williams to help improve the small businesses. I don't know how, but that's just an idea that I'm throwing out there. Maybe put it towards a small charging Mr. Williams and putting that money, that premium, to have, let's say, a dedicated small San Juan Bautista small business event, just to offset it, or 2-day event, 3-day event. However much money they're losing from business should be the premium charged towards Mr. Williams. So I hope that makes sense. And that is just totally looking out for that small business, because again, everyone knows that we already lost 2 or 3 businesses in the last year. And on that trajectory, we're going to probably have maybe 1 or 2 businesses, and they're going to be barely surviving. So let's help encourage those businesses and make them get a profit and do everything that we can, not helping out outside businesses, but helping out our internal small business, San Juan Bautista residents. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Michael Ponce.
Hello, Michael Ponce.
Hi, Michael, welcome.
I've asked this question before and I really didn't get a straight answer, so I'm going to ask it again. And the events that we have here in town, the arts and craft, the rib cook-off, et cetera, do we get any sales tax revenue from the sales of all the vendors on the streets? And if we do, how is that reported? Again, like I mentioned earlier, sales tax is a third of our general fund. We just lost 3 major businesses on that one day, especially for the rib cook-off for the crowd. I'm sure they generate a lot of sales. And if we're not getting any sales tax from that, we're missing the boat on that. So that was the question I'd like to see about how we getting sales tax on that.
Thank you. Do we have any other speaker cards?
One more, Linda Ginn.
Thank you. Hi, Linda, welcome. Linda, I'm sorry, hang on one second. Can you guys keep it down in the chambers, please? Thanks. Thank you. Sorry, go ahead.
The mic. The mic is, can you press the button? Yes.
Okay, I can speak.
Oh,
up.
there you go.
Okay.
Okay. Go
And
ahead.
I've had my issues with Jason for the last 10 years. Okay. He honestly, finally is doing better on some things. This is something that hurts our businesses. Arts and crafts don't help my business. I'm an antique store, but I'm happy that it helps other vendors. So we all have to roll with whether it's a car show, which business that helps. Okay. I'm going to speak on Thursday night. If you guys are going to close that street, it should be like 8 or 9 o'clock. I don't think it should be that early. They're supposed to set up that morning. If they have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to set up, then that's what you do. I've done shows all over the United States. That's what you do. Okay. Second thing, I've been adamant with Jason. He's gotten so much better, is to have a walkway into our businesses, because a lot of those booths have backings and I have an awning, and I always get a booth with the backing on, and it's dark where you walk in front of my store, but he's gotten better. Okay. The one thing that's always important to me is I want to know ahead of time, again, it's almost too late, who's going to be there from the city. If I have a problem, believe me, Jason is one. I have to chase him down to block 1. It would be really nice, and I've gotten this from Dawn in the past, give us a list ahead of time if there's a problem with one of the vendors, because I've had some nasty vendors in front of me. And when I just asked them to please take their stuff off the sidewalks need to be clear. That's the one thing that still bugs me. They should not have their totes in the back of their booth. It should be under the table or go put it back in your vehicle. Again, I've done shows all over the United States. That's the general rule. Their front looks good, but my sidewalk is bad. People can't walk between. So I'd like a list of who's going to be there. Is it the code enforcer? Is it the city manager? Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We should all have a list. I'll deliver it to each merchant. And I've done that in the past. Because Jason gets 10% of the sales from his vendors, and it's an honor system. And believe me, I watched him say one thing to me and then turn around and say to the vendor, go ahead and do it tomorrow. Okay. So he is trying, and I don't want to drive him out by having the cost be too high.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Your time is
So-
up.
Okay. Let's
Thanks,
work
Linda.
with him. He's very nice.
Do we have any other speaker cards? Anybody on Zoom land?
Seeing no hands raised on Zoom, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Back to the council. Councilmember Rhonda, anything further?
Other than I still stand where I stand. I would like to, I understand that he still needs to set up, some of these booths or whatever that he brings, especially that have to do with the rib, selling of ribs. They're not just pop-up tents. They're tents that actually need to be like set up and put up. And I understand, I've seen them in the middle of the street putting it up. It's not easy. And so, but I don't want to disrupt or impact our local businesses. So I still stand where maybe it's a 7 or 8 p.m.-ish instead of the 5.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Frails?
Yeah, I just forgot one thing. the residents and the business owners in downtown, they have to park their vehicles, a block and a half away for 4 nights now if we do Thursday night. It's just not fair for especially our residents downtown in the evenings to have to walk a couple blocks just to get to their vehicle. I just don't like the idea of doing this one more night. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Morris Lopez.
Yeah, I also want to just stick to what I said previously, that I don't support the 4th day, Thursday. They've been doing it for 3 days now for several years. So how did that stop working for them? I think it's an ask that at this time, for all the reasons we've all stated, I think they can continue with what they're doing, setting up on early Friday mornings and leave Thursday free for the local businesses and residents. Thank you.
Thank you. So, I heard a 7 o'clock and 7 o'clock on Thursday and a Friday morning. Do I have a motion for either one?
I'll move they start back to their original date on Friday morning, or their day Friday morning.
I will second that motion.
Motion made by Councilmember Friels to change the start date from Thursday, April 24th, 2025, from 5 o'clock to Friday, April 25th, 2025 at,
Madam Mayor, it wouldn't be to change it, just to stay with the original.
well,
we originally-
this shows, this resolution shows 5 o'clock.
Okay.
So we would change this resolution to Friday morning
Friday morning.
at
Sure.
at what, I don't know what time they used to start. What time for setup?
It didn't have a setup time. It just said start at 10.
Oh, it
close-
starts at 10. Okay. So I don't remember what other ones are. City manager.
It was midnight, really early in the morning.
Yes, sorry, thank you. Go ahead.
That was going to be my compromise, if we could say Friday morning, but Friday morning as early as 1 a.m.
Okay.
But keep in mind, we are going to have to pay staff to come out and close the road at that hour.
Okay. Okay. Are we good with that
No.
language?
No, I'm not good with 10 a.m. or 1 a.m. Then people are still going to have to move their cars.
Yeah, and typically it's at 3 o'clock in the morning. So 1 a.m. is,
This is really putting people out doing this stuff like this. And our so then we pay in Public Works at
we would be doing it at 3 a.m. also.
3 a.m. also.
Yeah.
Why
So
are we
it's
starting this?
3 is no different
So
than 1.
Did the original agreement say 3 a.m.?
No,
It didn't say anything.
no, it said, road closure starting at 10 in the morning on Friday.
10 in the morning.
Yes.
Okay, I'm good with that.
I'm sorry. You can't talk to the council. We have to figure this one out for ourselves. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay. I'd be good with 5 a.m. If anybody else is, I don't know if anybody, I'm okay with 5 a.m. At least it's tolerable for our Public Works crew too. They don't have to be up.
Can we make it a range, 5 to 7 a.m.? They can come, some come.
Well, the road has to be closed at a certain hour. So if we close it at 5, they get to set up until 10 a.m. when the event actually starts. So we have a motion for
I have a
Friday.
question, Madam Mayor.
Go ahead.
What the city manager brought up of paying our staff when it's not their working hours. What's the earliest time staff comes in on the utility crew?
7.
It's 7 a.m.
So why can't we do 7 a.m.? And they're paid during city time.
We can do anything that the council has a majority vote for.
I'm okay with 5. I mean, a couple hours of overtime for the guys is something that, but 5, and then it gives them 5 hours to have set up and ready to go. I mean, I don't know if they can get their fires going and all that time period, but like I said, I'd be perfectly willing to work with this promoter, but this is now the second year, actually the third year I've complained about him trashing our streets. and he just continues to do it. Like, he doesn't really care what we have to say. So, it just concerns me, how he's treating us. So, 5 a.m. is okay with me, if I can amend my, motion.
Absolutely. So Thursday to Friday at 5 a.m. Motion made by Councilmember Friels. I'm sorry, did I have a second on?
Not anymore,
You've
it
listed
changed.
Thursday.
I said from Thursday to Friday at 5 a.m.
They're coming in on Thursday?
No. The motion is to allow the street closure to begin, change the resolution from Thursday, April 25th at 2025 from 5 p.m. to Friday, April 25th, 2025 at 5 a.m.
Yes,
Are you seconding that?
I will second that.
Thank you.
I heard you
Motion
wrong,
made by
sorry.
Councilmember Friel, seconded by Councilmember Morris Lopez. May I have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Aranda,
No.
Councilmember Frios,
Yes.
Councilmember Morris Lopez.
Yes.
Mayor Jordan,
Yes.
the motion carried.
Thank you. E, partnering with Enterprise Fleet Management for immediate vehicle needs as well as long-term sustainability for capital and operating budget. Councilmember Aranda, this was yours.
I just wanted to pull out and I just wanted to pull it to show the public how much we're actually spending on this fleet management service. And I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, what? Oh, can we keep the discussion to nothing in chambers unless you're up at the podium for speaker comments? We're trying to work through an agenda here.
Sorry.
Or
about-
you can take it outside. Either way, I'm good. Thank you. Sorry, Councilmember.
No worries. I'm just I'm pulling this just so that the public is aware that we are about to spend a few $1,000s on the enterprise fleet management. I didn't want to just push it through since, we're trying to figure out our fire contract. So, I did review it. I think it's a great deal. I'm just trying to pull up the numbers here. I'm sorry, the city manager, the 60-something thousand correct?
Yeah, it's $67,482 annually. It'll become a part of our CIP, ongoing CIP. And the program is set to replace public works vehicles
Perfect.
and really upgrade our fleet.
Which I think is a great deal, just knowing what a price of a car or a cost, even if you were trying to purchase a used one. So that's the only reason I pulled it, just to be transparent with the public.
Thank you very much.
Mhm.
Do we have any other comment, Councilmember Friels?
No, I think it's a great idea. There are a couple pickups that, doors are held together with duct tape and bailing water. They're becoming dangerous. And we need dependable vehicles, and we saw that during the floods. So I think it's a great idea. The two smaller pickups are going to get much better gas mileage driving around town. So it'll cut on our fuel prices too. So, and we do have that thing when I asked for the 3/4 ton for the hard work. So it's great. I love this deal.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Morris.
I agree with everyone. I think it's a great deal of $67K a year for 5 years. If you go out and look at a new Ford F10 or whatever, 250, you're like almost $100K, but has all the bells and whistles. And so this is wonderful. And I asked City Manager Ashley, can we sell the old trucks that are there, or can we have a benefit where we charge people $50 to $100 to take a sledgehammer and beat up the old junkers? Kind of like a dunk tank.
I did want to highlight that we are projected to receive about 96,000 in resale proceeds for the leased vehicles. And I think we might have a representative from Enterprise that could answer that question that you have, Councilmember, directly.
Hi, Michael. Can you unmute yourself and have a conversation with us?
Yes, ma'am, I can. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have, but to the city manager's point, that is correct. The resale proceeds that are projected to return to the city at the end of the 5 years is about $96,000. And you all can utilize those funds however you choose. You can roll that into a new generation of vehicles. I can cut you a check. It's really up to you. That'll be, your money, but yes, that will be the projected resale proceeds return after 5 years.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you. Yeah, it'll be nice to have a cohesive fleet instead of yellow and white and whatever. They're an eyesore, and I really appreciate this. It's a little bit of sprucing up the city.
I think Roy did most of the legwork on that. Roy, you were the guy that did all the legwork on this. I just want to thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Roy.
No, thank you. And just a reminder, it does give us the extra vehicle as well.
Mhm.
So you can use when you travel out of town, so you don't no longer have to use your
Oh, yeah,
personal
we've got a
vehicles.
pool
Oh, a
vehicle.
pool vehicle.
Yeah.
Super
Yes.
cool. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for that.
Thank you.
Well done. Public comment?
Yes,
Thank you.
David Rodriguez.
Hi, David. Welcome.
Thank you. This sounds like an amazing deal and a great choice in or finding this company. Just a couple of things. Now I'm trying to switch gears. One of the things that we may need to add is now that we're kind of refreshing our fleet, maybe refreshing where the fleet sits and maybe make it slightly more presentable where it's at and kinda-
I'm sorry, David. We're just talking about the fleet project.
Oh,
the
okay.
Vehicles themselves. We appreciate the extra comments, but
Thank
just,
you.
just on the
That's
fleet.
all I
Thank you
had,
very
so,
much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comment?
No other speaker cards.
Thank you. May I have a motion to approve a resolution partnering with Enterprise, authorizing the city manager to execute a master equity lease agreement with Enterprise Fleet Management and to acquire 7 vehicle leases.
So moved.
moved.
So moved.
Thank you.
I'll
May I have a
second
second?
that. I will second that.
Thank you. May I have a roll call, please? Oh, I'm sorry. Motion made by Councilmember Aranda, seconded by Councilmember Morris Lopez. Go.
Councilmember Aranda,
Yes.
Councilmember Frios.
Yes.
Councilmember Morris Lopez.
Yes.
Mayor Jordan.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Item 6F, approval of engineering memo fence modifications at 701 Street. Councilmember Friels.
Yes, I just pulled this so we can have a little clarification. I've already spoke to our city manager about this. I just want to make sure people are clear as to why this is back in front of us. That's okay.
Thank you, City Manager. Will you take this, please?
Yes, thank you, members of the public council. Just to provide a little clarity, this issue has already been decided by the council. This memo is an extra step that we gave ourselves in our last staff report and resolution. We said that we would present the engineering report memo to the council that outlined what we wanted to do in terms of safety. We had an issue with a fence being put in. The fence is actually against our code. It's too tall. That permission was given by the previous city manager and it did not go through our system correctly. And because of that, we actually made some corrections and we compromised. We said, okay, keep your fence at the same height, but please provide some sight triangles for public health and safety so that, we would reduce our liability here at the city. So that's kind of where we find ourselves. We have had numerous conversations with both Mr. Castle and Mr. Adams regarding this issue. So once you approve this memo tonight, they will receive a copy and we are planning to move forward to hopefully resolve this issue. And I'll defer to the city attorney for any further comments.
Thank you, Councilmember Aranda.
No, thank you. No questions or comments.
Thank you. Councilmember Friels?
Nope, I just wanted clarification that both parties will be receiving the memo.
Thank you. Councilmember Morris Lopez?
Yes, thank you for the update and thank you for pulling it because this thing's been kicking around since the fall of 2024. It was clearly an error on a previous city manager, and here we sit. So this is a memo. It's not an action for them to do something.
This memo confirms what the council already approved, which is direction on installing site triangles into the fence line so that people pulling out of their driveways have better visibility.
Okay, I'm guesstimating when this first came to us was back in October, maybe. So I'm thinking I would like to see a deadline because, they get the memo and they wait 30 days. I would like us to have a deadline or a date that our city manager, our engineer, whoever we assign goes out there physically and does the measurements for the site triangle because it just feels so free floating. We could be here till the end of the summer with nothing done.
Just to clarify, the measurements have been done. That's why the memo's before you. We're under a 45-day timeline currently. So this is an active case and we're moving as quickly as we can.
Press your button.
My apologies, city manager. I didn't see that 45 days in the memo.
So that 45 days has come and gone? The original 45 days? It was 2 council meetings ago, I believe?
I'm gonna defer to the city attorney on that one.
The latest deadline, from my understanding, came from the notice of violation, which I believe was issued on March the 13th or 17th. And there's 30 days following that time period to solve the problem.
15 plus 30. And then in the resolution, and thank you to our city engineer, Jerry Sanguinetti, who is on the line. We, in the resolution, gave 45 days that once adopted by this body on, I'm sorry, I don't have the date handy, do I?
That was January 21st, I believe.
That once adopted by this body, the property owner at 701 2nd Street will be granted a reasonable time frame and will work expeditiously to complete the required fence line modifications not to exceed 45 days. And that resolution was in February. So I just want to know what my question is, when's our next deadline? When will this triangulation occur?
We got the memo last week from the city engineers department. I don't know when the next deadline is.
If I may approach
Thank
council.
you. Welcome, Mr. Sanguinetti.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, council members, Jerry Sanguinetti, M&S Engineers. Just by way of background, let me go back. You approved, as was already reflective by the city manager and the city attorney, the resolution was approved January 21st, resolution 2025-02. The effective date was actually on the January 22nd, because the resolution was approved that day, the day before. We counted 45 days from that day with no movement by the property owner at 701 2nd Street. We had several conversations prior to our January 21st meeting where we explained the situation and how they had a pre-existing non-conforming condition on 2nd Street and had erected a fence, albeit via an error in judgment by the former city manager. We confirmed that a site triangle would be necessary for the property owner at 705 Second Street to be able to ingress and egress his driveway with taking into consideration pedestrian and traffic safety concerns that were raised. The property owner at 701 did not act within the 45-day reasonable period that's outlined in the resolution. So we issued an NOV on March 26th and provided them 30 days to remedy the situation, which effectively will be at the end of this month on April 26th will be the final day as far as opportunity for them to modify the fence as in accordance with the memo that you have before you before we take the next step, which would be fines.
Thank you. And it was my understanding that if that was not done, that the city would take over this?
I think there's a liability and a risk for the city to take over as far as going on property and removing a fence. Typically what would happen is he would be issued an NOV on a daily basis for non-compliance with the resolution and the order. And those fees could be anywhere from $100 to $500 a day.
Thank you for that clarification.
You're welcome.
Do we have any public comment on this?
We have Mr. Adams.
Thank you. Hi, Mr. Adams, welcome.
Thank you to the city council and staff. I have reviewed Doug Pike's memo, which is before you, and after reviewing his letter, I reviewed it, excuse me, I laid it out on the sidewalk at our location. And in my opinion, 15 feet along the sidewalk is certainly ample for people walking or even riding a bike. But 15 feet doesn't seem ample enough for e-bikes and e-scooters. In my opinion, if you would please look at that distance one more time, I think it should actually be more like 30 feet. Those e-vehicles travel that sidewalk quite often. They come from the park right down our front of our place. And it's 15 feet is just very hard to see anything coming that quickly. Thank you.
Thank you for that.
Bob Quaid.
Thank you. Hi, Bob, welcome.
Yeah, I know Bob Castle's not here, but I've talked to Bob Castle about this issue. So can you clarify for me and maybe if Bob Castle listening, is it just that he has to put up mirrors or this triangulation, or does he have to cut his fence back? I'm not quite clear on this.
Thank you. Do we have we have a letter to be read into?
That is correct,
Thank you.
Mayor. Can you take the time,
Oh, sorry.
please? My name is Chris Perez, and I am appearing here tonight on behalf of my father and mother-in-law who live at 701 2nd Street. Unbelievably, they were not informed that this matter was on the agenda tonight. We only learned this 3 days ago, last Saturday, from a friend. They are currently on vacation and cannot be here. This item comes later in the agenda, but I have other obligations and cannot stay for the balance of the meeting. Again, we were not informed about this being on the agenda so that we would properly plan. The primary reason I am here is to make certain that the council is fully aware and informed on how this issue has been mishandled by city staff. Number one, my in-laws were never received proper notice of meetings. Two, when appearing before the council, my father-in-law was restricted to only speaking for 3 minutes, even though it was an agendized item concerning him. It should be noted that others, such as the person raising the complaints, was given more time. Number three, as you know, this situation has created by an error that was made by city staff to approve the project. Number four, city staff claims that in a meeting with them, an agreement was reached which it was not. Number 5, we have retained an attorney who has made numerous attempts to get information from City Attorney Giffen. To date, there has been no response, specifically his claim of a 1974 ordinance. And number 6, any of the council meeting, city staff ordered to meet with us to provide better clarification and hopefully resolve this issue rather than granting this meeting for all parties to meet, confer, and hopefully resolve this issue. The council chose to vote on the matter. This was compounded. This has compounded the issue, forcing us to hire an attorney to get relief. I appreciate your time and hope that you will consider directing staff to respond to our attorney's request for information, engaging in dialogue, and take no further action until that time.
Thank you. Do we have any other comments?
And there's no hands raised on Zoom, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Back to the council. Councilmember Aranda.
Can I ask one more time? We have reached out to the councils, right? Like I know we have, but I'm just making sure we're all in the same boat. We are coming to an agreement and we're set.
We have an engineering memorandum in front of you that you are being asked to approve.
Got it. And you someone from the city has spoken to the castles. They understand what's going on.
I have been in continual contact with the attorney for the castles. He has not yet seen this memorandum, I don't believe, but once it is approved, he will get it.
Got it.
Thank you. Councilmember Friels.
Yeah, I just one more time, just want to clarify, this council already took action on this item. And what this is doing is releasing the memo to the two parties involved. There's no other punitive action happening right now.
The only action you're taking is to approve the memorandum that the engineer has prepared.
Thank you.
But didn't we already do that on the last?
The memorandum was just prepared within the last couple of weeks.
Well, then what did we approve in the last meeting then? We approved something. There had to have been some type of. I'm confused.
Well, the memorandum, just as I said, was just approved within the last couple of weeks. So you didn't approve the memorandum per se. You approved, I believe you approved the action by the city to work with these parties to create a safe solution to the fence, which was built in non-compliance with the city ordinance.
So if I may, part of this says at the very end, now therefore it is hereby resolved that the traffic engineer's findings shall be documented in a technical memorandum. So that's what this is, the technical memorandum, including shall be documented. Okay, so this memorandum is the technical memorandum.
That's correct.
And this is
Okay.
what the castles have been asking for all along. This memo.
I think the castles have been asking for direction from the city as to what was going to be proposed as to a safe solution for the fence. And this is the memorandum that does that.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
No. Thank you. I'm sorry. We can't answer questions up here because it's not agendized. That particular question, did you go? I went. Okay. So we have I'm sorry, did I miss you? I'm sorry. No, it's just public comment only. This is for public comment?
My public comment, I asked a question.
It's not public discussion.
I
It's public
understand that.
comment. You get a chance to comment on whatever it is you want to talk about on this agenda item.
Thank you. Councilmember Morris Lopez?
very valid point. When we approve this resolution or this memo, is there any way that perhaps the engineer could take that comment into account with these other, and I know what he's talking about, e-bikes travel pretty fast and they don't necessarily go on, they're not like a walking pedestrian. So I would feel it'd be safer for the citizens and also the neighborhood if perhaps to consider measuring a little bit further than 15 feet. Is that possible?
The city engineer might be able to answer that question,
Mr. Sanguinetti, are you still on?
or Doug.
Oh, hi, Doug. Sorry, I apologize. Hey, Doug, can you answer that?
Mayor and council, yes, I can. So this is all about observation at the site and, reasonable engineering judgment. When I was out there and looking at it, I did consider, objects of a faster speed on the sidewalk. And the reason why I didn't account for like e-bikes on the sidewalk is because technically it's illegal to drive a e-bike on a sidewalk. And so for purposes of a reasonable decision, I assume they would be in the street. However, just so you know, council could direct anything other than this. This is truly a recommendation based on experience and engineering judgment. And the only other thing I'll mention is that these blind driveways occur in older neighborhoods all over. And whenever we have an opportunity to make sure they don't happen or correct one that exists, then I recommend that we do it. Otherwise, it could fall under some liability trap for the city if it's not dealt with at the time it can be dealt with. And I thought the 15 by 15 was truly a minimum. It met all of the spirit of the recommendations of the federal AASHTO standards, which just gives some general discussion about site triangles and safety.
Thank you for that. Does that answer your question? Thank you. Okay, so time to approval of the engineering memo, review and approve the engineering memo prepared in accordance with resolution number 2025-02. May I have a motion?
Motion. Approve.
Thank you. May I have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. May I have a roll call, please? Motion made by Councilmember Morris Lopez, seconded by Councilmember Aranda.
Councilmember Aranda,
Yes.
Councilmember Frios.
No.
Councilmember Morris Lopez,
Yes.
Mayor Jordan.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Permit the use of, this is item H. Permit the use of safe and sane fireworks within the city and authorize Anzar High School Booster Club to sell safe and sane fireworks for the 4th of July holiday.
I just pulled it just to see, I believe they were asking for 10 o'clock, correct? To stay open till 10 o'clock. Is that correct? I just with that area, I definitely support the, fundraising of Anzar High School. The only concern I have is just what's going on after once the mill is closed and that whole shopping center is closed. Will there be a lot of random traffic in there? So I'm proposing that we limit it to 9 o'clock p.m. That's the only feedback I have.
It already is.
I'm sorry, I thought I read it as 10.
Apologies, there appears to be a typo. Or maybe
Yeah, the
more
top one
than
says 10 o'clock and then.
Right, and in the body of it, I think it says 9 p.m. somewhere else.
Yeah.
So,
Should be 9 o'clock.
okay.
No worries. So if it's 9, then I'm good. That's all I had.
Thank you. Good. Councilmember Morris Lopez? You're good? Questions, comments, concerns from the chambers?
No speaker cards received.
Yeah. Do we have anything on Zoom?
No hands raised.
Thank you. Back to council. Seeing no further questions, comments, or concerns from anyone. Approve a resolution authorizing nonprofit organization Anzar High School Booster Club to sell Safe and Sane fireworks for the 4th of July holiday and permit the use of Safe and Sane fireworks within the city only between noon and 9 p.m. on July 4th. And sorry, I was going to make a friendly amendment to that. Closing down early on the 4th of July at dusk. No use selling them after the 4th of July.
But they can use them up till
They can use them up to 10.
10 o'clock. So
It says permit the use of Safe and Sane within the city limits between noon and 10. Okay. So selling only until 9 p.m. and then the use until 10 p.m. My apologies. Thank you for that. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you.
second,
Motion made by Councilmember Aranda, seconded by Councilmember Friels. May I have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Aranda,
Yes.
Councilmember Friels.
yes.
Councilmember Morris Lopez.
Yes.
Mayor Jordan.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Thanks to the principal for attending. Angela Crowley. Thank you. Yeah, if we can take a 5-minute break, I would appreciate it. Thanks for coming. Thank you. Hi, welcome back all. 5, 6, 7. Sorry, bringing it back. Item 7 is a discussion item, discussion on the feasibility of a pilot community fund program.
Hi, good evening. Thank you, members of the council. Caitlin Brady, Recreation Coordinator, is going to give a presentation, and then we'll have a discussion.
Thank you. Hi, Caitlin. Welcome. Please unmute yourself.
Okay. Sorry, I clicked buttons in the incorrect order. Hello. Let me share my screen really quick. Are you able to see this screen that I have up right now?
Nothing's coming up yet.
Great. Then that's where we want to be in this moment. Okay. Should do it. Are you able to see my screen now?
Yes, we are. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Okay, so hello, council. I'm here to talk about this community fund city grant program. It was last budget cycle. There was a program approved to be a city grant. So it's intended for the city to give money to the community to benefit the community. So given from San Juan Bautista to the community for the community. It was labeled as a grant, and the whole purpose of this was to support the community and keep track of how much support we were giving and kind of build an accountability system for what is happening with those funds. And the reason that I'm here talking about it today is so that we can start a discussion about the feasibility of this kind of program with what we've got and the kind of the size, the scale that we want it to be. When it was approved last year, there was no program yet developed. So since the time that the budget was approved, we've been working on building up the program. So deciding, okay, what's the theme of the program? What's the purpose? What's the intent? How are we structuring the communication back and forth? How are we going to determine administration of the funds? All that minutia. So we've been working on looking at that stuff and how it could work, as well as, okay, what's practically the appropriate amount? And this is all stuff that needs some consideration. There's been a delay in the implementation of this program since that program wasn't developed before approving that in the budget. So if you look at the, if I'm sure you've read it over, the staff report, it asks you to consider some things, including how much in general we're going to set aside and maybe basing that off of what we've given in the past. Not only just overall fund allocation, but how much each award is going to be. Also looking at, okay, what's the program structure actually going to be like? Are we going to roll it out once a year, multiple times a year? Is it going to be an open enrollment type thing? Is it going to be, is it that there's, I think I skipped a point about, we were calling it a grant, but after meeting with and discussing with a bunch of other cities who do a similar program, it seems more linguistically appropriate to call it a community fund, because it's kind of what everybody calls it. But is this fund open for applications all year, or is it once a year? Is city council going to be the one determining who gets the award, or is there a, a committee of people who are going to be determining those awards? And then just general management, who's managing it, how's it managed, and the logistics, the day-to-day logistics like that. So this is the opening to that discussion. And at the end of that staff report, I've put a couple of things to consider as discussions happen. Should the city be setting a standard award cap that's small, because we can do things like micro grants. I've talked to a couple of cities who do micro grants that are like much less than $1,000. They're between usually at $100 and $500. Or do we want them to be much bigger grants or funds awards that are like $2,500 to $5,000? And then take that and maybe extrapolate, okay, then what's the appropriate allocation from the budget to be putting into things like that? So real quick, overview of the where we're at with the fund. If you've got any questions for me.
Thank you very much. Questions, comments, concerns from the council?
I only have a comment. I think the micro grants would be a good idea, just because, like you mentioned, you'd be able to provide more of those. And so I definitely like that idea going forward, but that's just my opinion. But other than that, thank you, Caitlin.
Thank you. Councilmember Friels?
Thank you. Just a few things I'd like to see added to the whole screening process. We'll start with, I think it would benefit nonprofits. So proof of nonprofit. And then in those nonprofits, like to see, if they have any type of a business plan or a plan for that nonprofit. And then as far as their finances, approved audit from an independent auditor from the year before, to make sure that they're putting their money where it's supposed to go. And then as far as a community, we need a definition on community. I've asked for it just to be City of San Juan Bautista. And I'm okay if it benefits residents of the City of San Juan Bautista, but we need a percentage. 1 or 2% for me just doesn't cut it when we have groups that could use that money that are in the city limits. So, and as far as when we're going to implement this, I was under the impression we would start it at the beginning of the year or the fiscal year. We'd have an application process, and then we could screen from there. And, probably there may be, if there's like, let's say 10 applicants and 3 of them are from, some other town, they're going to go to the bottom of the list, and our folks are going to be first. That's just my opinion on that. But the key for me is to make sure that these folks are coming forward to be able to, show us a legitimate audit, or at least some type of confirmation from a independent auditor saying, yes, they're spending the money that they've they've budgeted for, and they're, you know, they're not underwater with it, and we're bailing them out. So that's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Morris Lopez.
Yes, thank you. On your handout here, you had some good points to guide us in discussion for this consideration. And so I'd like to read them, and the questions that you posed before us to discuss were, should the city set a standard award cap 2,500 to 5,000? Would micro grants be included? What total is appropriate to allocate to the community fund? Should the program be a one-time pilot, or is this sustainable annual offering? Who will evaluate and score applications? What level of staff capacity is available to administer the program, and who should manage it? I think those are all very great questions that we should be considering. Question for me and maybe public, I don't know. I'd like an example of a micro grant, like to what type of, is that like a business? What is that? A micro grant? 50 or $100?
One of the, oh, sorry. As far as a micro grant, the one that pops into my mind, because it's the discussion I had the most recently, was one city does, I think it's the city of Dublin, does micro grants for communities that want to put on an event for their neighborhood. So it's basically helping to support not quite a block party, but somewhere between a block party and a big city event that's just for a certain neighborhood. And those micro grants go, like I said, are about $100 to $500. It's enough to help a community get something started, but it's not quite enough to put on some big shebang.
And what's the current pot of money that we're working with for fiscal year 25, 26?
That is one of the things that we wanted to discuss, how much are we actually setting aside for this? One of the things that I recommended was looking at how much we've given to community groups in the past, and seeing, maybe extrapolating from there how much people tend to ask for and how much is a reasonable amount for us to set aside within the constraints of our budget. In the past, we've given, we don't give a lot of money out. Several groups come and they ask, but they don't, they aren't awarded the money. But in just this last year, we've given money to the Spirit of San Juan Bautista. We've given money to the San Benito Leadership Institute, and we've given money to Ecology Action of Santa Cruz. And that totals out to $25,500. But those three expenses, or those three amounts, range from $500 to $20,000. So it's a wide range, but I think it's important to decide maybe how much we can help. If we want to make them a few larger ones or many smaller ones, I think that's part of the discussion.
Okay. You listed three.
Yes.
And I do know that the Spirit of San Juan, we get product from them. They actually produce a report, very thorough report. They report back. They have software that does counts as to how much engagement we have on weekends and also these events that we have. And they also do advertising in various magazines that go out nationally. And so there's something we get back for that money we're giving. I just want that to be understood, that we're not just handing over money for just to give. So I think that needs to be clarified. Thank you.
And with the community fund, we'll do a similar thing. We'll have a similar structure where it's not just money that you give out. It's that money is given to support, but there is a report back. So that's part of the structure that gets built in with this fund. Is it's not just sending money out into the community. It's sending it out and seeing what is the valuable impact to the community, having that reported back. It is best to be reimbursement based for something like this. So then you get the community group will get reimbursed for approved funds, rather than fronting the money and hoping they spent it right, which they would still have to they would still have to give you a report on what they spent that money on. But that's part of the program structure that needs to be cemented.
Oh, yeah.
How you doing over there?
I'm taking notes. I'm done.
Okay, good.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Caitlin. Yeah, Scott made some very valid points. If we're giving to nonprofits, business plan for sure, an independent auditor for sure. I, I don't understand granting versus funding. If we're granting, then we're responsible for the overall language in a grant and how to provide for that grant, what we're going to be asking for in return, and who's going to be paying attention to all of that. So I don't know, do we have the bandwidth for granting?
I'm going to answer that question very carefully. So currently, and I'm going to use community fund and grant interchangeably, because no matter which way you slice the apple, it's going to be the same thing. The requirements for reporting and review will be the same, and they're going to be quite high in terms of our threshold for what we will look through and allow. We take the gift of public funds incredibly seriously. It is in how we're tracking that money and how it's being spent is incredibly important. But I want to be very, cautious about how we do that. We have a limited staff. We have one recreation coordinator for the entire recreation department for the city of San Juan Bautista, right? So with that being said, if we take on a community fund program, it's going to take the entire city to manage that program. She will be probably the lead, but it would be a group effort in order to make that happen. In terms of the funding for the program, the council did allocate $50,000. It is located within the recreation budget currently. What that looks like moving forward is up to the council. I would caution the council because we do have a lot of expenditures and a lot of things that we're looking at, especially fire services in the future. So just keeping that in mind as we move forward with whether you want to roll over that entire amount or you want to half it or however, just those are some things to consider and what our future expenses will look like for the community and priority setting. But we can also have that conversation when we focus in on the budget. We don't have to have that conversation tonight. Just want to make sure that we're keeping an eye on things. One of the things that's incredibly important, and I have a lot of experience managing community grants, and that I agree with the council completely that we want to make sure that the organizations are solvent and that this does not become, they do not become reliant on the city providing a grant year after year, because if this fund goes away for whatever the reason, we don't want to end up with really angry nonprofits on our hands. And also want to make sure that as a city, we understand what our needs are in terms of our partnerships. There really has to be a community need that our city cannot provide solely on its own. So these are partnerships. So we're saying as a city, we're going to partner with this organization for this particular service because we don't have the capacity to do that thing. If that makes sense. So we're just looking at, what do we have the capacity? Yes, no. And then what that partnership will look like. It's an application. It's 501c3 status. It's looking at your books, what your audits are looking like, but it's also their ability to be reimbursed. So we're not going to be paying anything up front. They're going to be saying, here's the receipts. This is what we spent. This is everything that, and then we will reimburse from that vantage point. Every person or organization, excuse me, that is accepted into the program will have to have a contract. And those contract guidelines for the city are also pretty strenuous, right? They need insurance. There's a whole slew of things that will have to happen. So needless to say, it's going to be a lot of work for us. We are capable of doing it, but as we move forward, what we'll need from the council is working on the amounts and treating all of our nonprofits exactly the same. Okay, understanding that yes, Spirit of San Juan's been getting a $20,000 for advertising. Do we want to continue that? That's a discussion for the council and what that means. But moving forward, understanding that every group in the city will be treated absolutely the same.
That was an awesome explanation. Thank you. Yeah. And every entity being treated the same doesn't mean every entity getting the same dollar amount. Thank you. Okay. Questions, comments, concerns from the public in chambers? Thank you. Hi, Michael.
Hello, Michael Ponce again. I just have a question. I'm a little confused about this community fund program. I understand it's for nonprofits. Is it just to promote the city of San Juan Bautista, or is it opportunities for other nonprofits? I'm currently now involved with 3 nonprofit groups here in San Juan Service Club, the oldest club in San Juan Bautista since 1929, the Boy Scouts, and Junior Giants. Incidentally, the Service Club is a charter organization for the Boy Scouts. So when I heard about this community fund, I'm thinking 2 of the 3 organizations are struggling to raise money for their community service projects. The Service Club has been the charter organization for Boy Scouts since 1929. They provide the funds for annual registration for the scout leaders and for the kids. And they also help out with the kids going to annual summer camps. Both organizations, like I say, have been struggling to raise funds because nowadays everybody's doing the same fundraisers. There's competition for fundraisers. And in the old days, it was you had a barbecue or you had a tri-tip sale or something. But now it's so cost prohibitive with the environmental permits, food safety permits. Before you even start to consider a fundraiser, you're in the hole before you even get started. So I don't know if this community fund falls into category that I'm thinking about is, will this help Service Club, Boy Scouts, and a little bit of Junior Giants? Because they are all nonprofit organizations. Thank you.
Thank you. This is a discussion. Do we answer or not? Because I just want to reiterate what you just said.
I'll take it away, Mayor, if you want to reiterate what I just said. I think it's up to the council. I mean, you have to meet a community need, right?
Right. It's a partnership and the city doesn't have the capability to perform that task. So it needs to be a true partnership that if it were a city organization, if it were a city funded, it would be something that we didn't have the bandwidth to do already. So if you fall into that category, and again, this is new, this is something that we have to figure out. And we have a plethora of information to go through and figure out how to do this. And we're not deciding anything tonight except whether to move forward with this, and can we move forward with this, and can we have more discussions on it? Do we have any other public comment?
Yes, we do. Shauna Friels, you have 3 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the City Council. I'm
Hey,
speaking on.
Shauna, welcome.
Thank you so
Sorry.
much, Madam Mayor. I promise not to discipline my dog as we talk. I wanted to share with you on behalf of the Rosa's House organization. We are the entity, nonprofit 501c3, who created in partnership with the Historical Society, the historic San Juan Bautista Historic Walking Trail. And that walking trail is 49 sites within San Juan Bautista that have plaques with QR codes that lead you to a website of all the historical buildings that were built into our historic walking trail that entice our tourists more than anything, but also our local residents to understand the city of history. And we couldn't have done it without our partnership with the city. And the city granted us twice funding to help create the historic walking trail, put those plaques in place, create the website, and continue to enhance that website. That actually was not a reimbursable program. It was an actual grant. So it wasn't one of it sounds like our city's considering granting post purchase. And we actually needed the funds up front, similar to what our community foundation for San Benito County does. And that was the only way we could accomplish that. So I just wanted to share that with you. We have multiple different phases of this historic walking trail that we would like to continue to move forward with, but we're grassroots. We have very little funding, and it really benefited us to have that upfront monies to help us create this historic walking trail that you see in multiple different organizations in different cities throughout California and the United States. So I just really want you to think about that. And I also wanted to just give a shout out for the Spirit of San Juan. Those folks do a tremendous amount of work for our community. And I think they are such an advantage for San Juan Bautista because the city honestly doesn't have the bandwidth and we don't have a chamber of commerce. So anyway, those are my comments, and I hope you consider looking at this retroactively as well, because that $50,000 ends June 30th, and those monies are still sitting in your budget waiting for us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Back to the council. I feel like I'm on Jeopardy. Councilmember Aranda.
No questions or comments. Thank you.
Councilmember Friels.
Yeah.
Something to say.
Yeah, Caitlin, thank you for spilling the beans on some of the money we gave out. Ecology Action of Santa Cruz. What in the wild world of sports is that group? And why is San Juan giving Santa Cruz any money? See, this is what I'm talking about with. Does anybody know what this group is? What they do?
See that at. Caitlin's
Caitlin
mentioned
told
it.
us it's just that's how much. Yes.
Caitlin, do you happen to have that information on that group?
I was told, I had forgotten.
Okay. Okay, that's kind of what I'm getting at. I mean, we need to. We have a very small city limits. This is pretty simple math. So, thank you, Caitlin, for the for the presentation. Thanks for spilling the beans. You just gave me more ammo. Scored points.
Thanks, Caitlin. So is it the consensus of the council that we want to?
I had more questions. Are we going in order?
Sure, go ahead.
You keep forgetting me.
do.
Okay, you really
It's
do.
not here to forget, so I have to forget you.
Okay, anyway, so I have a question for that 50K. I know that this was a discussion item, a lot of discussion around it. Already things pop out in my head that we may not have adequate staff to manage this official grant funding program. It's a lot of paperwork, a lot of things to consider. For me, I'm thinking what's a recreation program for me? I think of groups that don't have either the funds or I think any good recreation. Let me just start over. When I think of city rec, I think of children. And I don't hear anything being spoken to other than the gentleman that spoke about junior giants and Boy Scouts. I'd like to see some of that 50 grand be put back into our budget in the rec program to directly purchase either basketballs, maybe have a kite flying day, have a hot dog and kite flying day. Give it to the kids now. I mean, it's been sitting there and there's not a lot of things to do for children in this town. And I feel like you could spend a lot of money on adult things, or you can spend very affordable money and make some children happy and parents. And I don't see enough of that happening in this small town. And so can we put some of that money aside for community events that maybe, focus on children?
Thank you for the question. I think that's a council decision.
So do we have a recreation budget?
So our recreation budget currently covers salary benefits.
Okay.
So we and Wendy can speak to this a little bit. I might pick on her. We originally thought we had more than 50,000 to cover recreation programming. But once we really combed through the books, we realized we only had the 50,000 for the community fund program. I'm not sure if Wendy wants to clarify further or correct me. Feel free.
Well, yeah, in our recreation program, we do in fact have that $50,000 for the anticipated community fund, but in addition, we have salaries and wages, supplies. I think there's a little training in there as well, travel. There's also the software program for the online rec program. It's not a large budget, but the funds are in there, but there is some operating funds in there as well.
So bubbles and Jenga and kites, what we were doing, what Caitlin was doing for movie night or Monday Night Lights or whatever.
Wendy, do you know if we had any operating funds, what the number is for that?
I guess more my question is to Councilmember Morris Lopez, if some of these monies could go to programs like that. I mean, it's money that we have $50,000. We're figuring out how to allocate it this year, or whether to roll it over, or do both. So I guess that's the bigger question. This 50,000 can go to recreation, Parks and Rec. It could go to community funds. It could go to this year. It could go to next year. It could look like whatever the council so deems.
I want to clarify. We're going to take back your comments tonight to really dial in the community fund program. So our focus is for the new fiscal year for
Okay,
that.
perfect.
So if we're talking about what to do with the current funds that we have, if you want to apply it to the current recreation budget, that's most certainly a council decision.
If that's a line item in it, do we need to approve moving that line item to a
Yeah,
different
I mean, if
funding
I may,
source?
you approved this in last year's budget discussions for a specific purpose.
Yeah,
And if it's being moved to other purposes, because you approved and adopted the budget as it stood, including the operating budget for Parks and Rec. If you're looking at taking this very specific item and utilizing it, and I got confused for a second, there were bubbles and lights. I thought I was supposed to let you know how much we've spent on bubbles and lights. No. I think that there needs to be some form of action. This may be a legal question because you're realigning your budget. And this was a very specific item on your budget outside of all the other smaller items like uniforms and whatnot.
Okay, that answers my question. Thank you. And Councilmember Morris Lopez's. Okay, so no action, but we're gonna continue to have these discussions on what to do and where to but I'm sure we'd have to at some point form an ad hoc committee. Caitlin, thank you so much for the presentation. We appreciate it. Lots of stuff for the council to consider. And I'm sure that in the next couple of meetings, we'll be having further discussion on this. Thank you. Thanks, Wendy, for chiming in.
Welcome.
8 action items. Receive an update on fire protection services contract and provide direction to staff on options. City manager.
Give us 1 second while we pull up the presentation.
Thank you.
I
We all
will
have to pull up our.
try to be brief, but we got a lot happening. So tonight we're going to talk about fire
Guys,
protection
can you
services.
please keep it down
Um,
in chambers, Mr. Ponce? We're having a discussion up here, and taking time out to have a discussion back there doesn't work for us. Thank you. City manager, take it away.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council, public. We're here to talk about fire protection services within the city of San Juan Bautista. Next slide, please. So just a brief update on the timeline of things. In October of 2024, Hollister City Council approved a contract amendment. And in January of 2025, we had some negotiations ongoing. San Juan Bautista had approved a contract amendment, but it was not ratified by the city of Hollister as we waited for San Benito County to negotiate their contract. In February of this year, we held a pretty well-attended fire services town hall, had really robust discussions about the status of fire services within the county. And on March 18th, a contract amendment was presented to the council, and they voted to reject that proposal, requesting the need for additional negotiations with all of the stakeholders. So that was the SJB's ad hoc committee staff, that was City of Hollister's staff, fire chief, and that was San Benito County's ad hoc committee and staff. Next slide, please. Just to kind of go back a little bit and just tell you, so the key terms of the initial contract from round 1 was $150,000 upfront payment, which increased our fiscal year 24-25 budget from $268,000 to $468,000. And we would increase our annual contract to $418,000, increasing annually 11% through June of 2028. We would transition from a calendar year to a fiscal year payment model, and San Juan Bautista would be provided a minimum 2-person response. And then the staffing levels were going to be set at Hollister's discretion unless otherwise contracted. Next. So On April 7th, the city of Hollister approved option E, and they presented this option to us for consideration. They revised their contract framework, proposing unified terms for both the county and San Juan Bautista. Key elements of that amendment include the minimum of 3 staffing at the fire stations, a combined compensation model for both agencies with cost sharing to be determined, and increased payments for fiscal year 25, 26 and beyond, starting at 6.52 million and escalating to 8% annually. Next slide, please. They are asking for a one-time payment of 1.25 million to offset fiscal year 24, 25 negotiating related costs, and that will be due on May 9th of this year. And the costs would have to be split with San Benito County. And then contract term would end June of 2028. There are amendments to the facility lease terms, which is basically removal of rent, payment of rent or utilities, impact fee reimbursements, which means any impact fees that San Juan Bautista receives for fire services would go directly to the city of Hollister, development review inspection costs, and dispatch coordination through SCR 911. And then there's also the inclusion of a 270-day mutual termination clause, acknowledging the interdependent nature of services between the county and San Juan Bautista, which basically means that neither one of us can pull out of this, would be able to pull out of the contract. And if we did, it would 270 notice would be automatic for the contract to end. So at this current moment, I've reviewed our budgets, and I cannot recommend that we amend our current budget to increase the fees for fire protection services with the city of Hollister at the rates they have currently presented to us. Next slide, please. But I'm recommending the following, that the council reconsider the proposal from our March meeting. And I recommend that we counter the amended proposal, sending Hollister a joint proposal with San Benito County to resubmit the rates we've already negotiated. Would you go back to that slide, please? Okay. So just to reiterate, it would be 150,000 upfront payment increase. Our annual contract would increase to 418K, our budget, and we'd have a 11% escalator. We'd transition from a calendar year to fiscal year. We'd agree to a minimum 2-person response, and Hollister would have the discretion with the staffing levels. So I'm going to pause here and take any questions from the council, because we got a lot of topics on here.
Councilmember Aranda.
And we're just talking about this slide? Or can I just ask a general question? You know, this new contract that just came up, how did we get to these escalating numbers that are just way off from the 318 proposed key contract terms? So I just want to understand how we ended up there.
Would you go back to that slide? Yes, that one.
Yes.
So option E. So when the contract, after our discussion here in March, Hollister staff went back to their council to discuss options. And so they're actually here tonight. I don't want to pick on them unnecessarily. So if you, they went back and they recalculated their numbers, and they used a new staffing model. So it's not the original model that we talked about here tonight. So that's the difference.
That's the difference. Got it. I don't think I have any other questions right now.
Okay. Thank you. Councilmember Morris Lopez.
No questions at this time.
Keep going. We're good.
Okay, next slide, please. We gotta
You
go.
go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry, just for, yes. Can we go back to this slide here? We do need, I want to kind of, if this is okay, I want to split this up and make it very, very clear.
Thank you.
We need, we need a vote on this option here. Which is countering the contract.
So we were presented with a contract and we have an opportunity now to either accept their contract or counter their contract.
Correct.
Councilmember Aranda.
With that being said, and I think the city of Hollister and the county knowing where we stand, that we don't have that type of budget, especially to pay out, what was it, 1 point, sorry, my screen just went out. So it was like 1 point something.
1.25.
$1.25 million within a month's notice. That doesn't really sit well with me. So
I'm sorry, can you roll back one slide? Yeah, the top bullet is what you're referring to.
yes, these numbers just seem outrageously just inflated. Obviously, I mean, I'm sure you guys, the City Hollister has its formula on how they came up with these numbers, but you know, obviously they know our position in this game, and there's just no way we're going to be able to pull this off. So me personally, I want to reject that contract, and I want to propose the original one that we were talking about from 318. If we can go back.
No, go back to where we were. Yes, thank you.
And I agree with our city manager. For the best interest of this city, we obviously don't have those type of funds. I feel like we're being backed up to a corner at the very last minute with a month's notice, and so I don't take that lightly. So for me, it's counter it and send it back the way we had it. I know I was struggling with the minimum of 2 firefighters per engine. But at this point, if I mean, we just don't have those funds. So at this point, I'd rather have a fire station than not. And let's see what Hollister will do with our contract if we were to send that back.
Thank you. Councilmember Frails.
But confused. We need to take action now before we finish the entire. I thought you said we have more on the.
We do. We need further direction, but I was trying to get clarity for this part. But we can talk about the whole picture if you want. I just didn't want to muddy the waters too much by giving too many options all at the same time.
No, I agree with Councilmember Arana on what he just said.
Councilmember Morris Lopez.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I'm, the events happened as they did back on March 18th. And my ask was, let's have some more open meetings with the stakeholders, and that did happen. So that did meet what I wanted to happen. And for me, I felt like the original contract offer was in line with what we could afford. And correct me if I'm wrong, the 2-person or 2 firemen minimum, that means sometimes maybe they'll add a 3rd person. So at least we'll have 2 people. That's how I interpret that. Correct me if I'm in error of that. But I'm in agreement with the original and counter that offer. I reject the offer that we're getting. It's something that we can't sustain. That's asking us to work with the county. Does the county have money to pay the majority of that 1.25 million? Everyone's struggling with their budgets, and it's not going to get any easier. The fiscal year for California, I was just up in Sacramento as well as the mayor, and we didn't hear real good news. So I think we need to be very cognizant of that. And I think this original contract is what's gonna work for us.
Keep going.
Having trouble with my button.
I think everybody is.
If I could just provide some further context, the county ad hoc committee and staff, as well as San Juan Bautista's ad hoc committee and staff, met with Fire Chief Golding on April 11th. We were able to ask Chief Golding questions regarding the current contract amendment as it currently stands. We were not in negotiations with Hollister to change what they've presented to us. So I just want to provide that context. We were able to have a really good discussion with the county about where we stand in each of our respected budget areas and what our current needs are. So I just wanted to provide that context to you.
Thank you. Council's in agreement with the recommendation of countering the amendment proposal, sending Hollister a joint proposal with San Benito County to resubmit the rates already negotiated. Moving forward.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Next slide, please. Okay. So prepared a couple of comments or options for the council to consider as we move forward as a city. Obviously, we do not know what the city of Hollister will do with our proposal, our counter proposal. But regardless of that, as a city, we need to understand further what our capabilities are and what we can do moving forward to ensure that our community has fire protection services. So one of the things that I wrote out very briefly in your packet, and this will require more research and more discussion, is for the council to consider an RFP to secure comprehensive fire protection and emergency medical services for San Juan Bautista. We are a small entity, 2,000 people here. And we also have a fire station and an engine. We have assets here. And we need, as a council, you should really be thinking about how to best use those assets to get what we need. But also understanding, yes, we know what the county needs, but what are other cities as our size is, right? What are other cities within California doing? What does that look like? We need to be considering everything, leaving no option off the table as we work through this. If Hollister does not approve our what we send back to them, what are we going to do moving forward? That means we have until December 20th of 2025 to secure fire protection services for our community. And so some of the options that I put in your packet: consider an RFP to secure that fire protection and medical services. Consider a partnership via RFP with San Benito County. There are other options. We need to understand all of them. Work with CAL FIRE, right? I just want to be clear, and I need that direction from you on what you want to see moving forward.
Thank you. Councilmember Aranda.
I think it's a really good idea. Honestly, I hate to say it, I just don't think that the city of San Juan, Hollister, who knows, will come to an agreement. Obviously those numbers are too high. They know our position. We can't do it. And I don't want to, we're here to watch over the people of San Juan. So there needs to be a fire station. So at this point, as a secondary measure, just to, insurance policy, yes, I want to see us explore other options, whether that's with the county, whether that's with CAL FIRE or other cities near us, Gilroy, Morgan Hill. I don't know if there's fire services that we can get or explore where they can help us out. but I think you're headed definitely in the right direction. We need to have a backup plan ready to go in case we don't come to terms with the city of Hollister at this point. So, in my opinion, please proceed, and I want to make that a high priority.
Thank you. Councilmember Friels.
No, I agree. We should move forward with the bullet points showed in front of everybody and explore all options. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Morris Lopez. I didn't forget you.
Yes, thank you. Yes, the direction on the next steps, I think, are wise. And I would definitely give direction to staff to explore those. Thank you.
Thank you. So just to reiterate a couple of things that the city manager said, on April 11th, we had an amazing conversation with the county. We were charged by the city of Hollister to have negotiations with the county, and that they would provide the fire chief, and we appreciate the fire chief sitting in and answering a bunch of questions that we had based on option E. And to answer your question, how did we get to where we are today? So on April 11th, Councilmember Friels, myself, our city manager, Supervisor Kosmicki, Supervisor Velasquez, CAO Henny Ring, and the chief were all there. And Roy, I apologize. Thanks, Roy. Roy Morales was there. Thank you for that. So the conversation was really, really, really good. And we can work together with the county, pushing our counter offer back to the city of Hollister will show if the city of Hollister can work with the rest of us. And that's where we're at now. So moving our counter forward, and then the options that we had that were just the bullets of whether or not we can all sit together, or the county and the city of San Juan can sit together and come up with a deal, or whether the city of San Juan Bautista has to come up with their own deal, will be further down the road. We first have to wait for the city of Hollister to acknowledge the receipt of our counter proposal and then bring it back to us, whatever they decide. And then we'll move forward with the county and see what we can do from there. Do we have public comment?
Madam Mayor, can I say
Sure,
one
one
thing?
more. Yeah.
One last question,
Yeah.
and just my understanding. So I mean, this is great that we had the city of Hollister, the chief. I mean, from what I'm hearing, right, we had all jurisdictions, all agencies at this meeting, or was it, or were someone missing
At the meeting
at
on
that meeting?
on the 11th?
Yes.
Those people that I mentioned were in attendance. There was, if you're asking if the city of Hollister showed
Yes.
up, the ad hoc committee, I believe it's Mayor Stevens and Council Member Resendez and the city manager were not present.
Got it. Okay. So, okay. I mean, that answers my question.
Thank you. Do we have public comment? Thank you.
Bob Quaid.
Hi, Bob. Welcome. You have 3 minutes to have a
That's-
conversation.
And I have a question. I know you got to answer the question, but it wasn't real clear here on, because it was 1.2 million cost, but that cost was shared with the county. So I'm just wondering how much the county was going to pay and how much the city was going to pay. Was that talked about? Before we say we can't afford it, I'd like to know how much the county is going to contribute, how much the city was going to contribute, and what the final cost was for us on this.
Thank you.
David Marioni,
City manager, come on down. Yes.
Yes, 3 minutes? Okay. All right, very good. Thank you for allowing me 3 minutes to have an important discussion with you and answer some of the questions I heard. So I'll speak quickly, and I apologize if I go quick. Why we weren't at that meeting, that was a direction of our council, was to propose to you and to the county, your symbiotic relationship, work together, and then we'll sit down. So there's not a big issue of why we weren't there at it. I had direction from our council and we followed our direction. So just to put a bow on that, to talk about the deal, the original deal that we proposed to both the county and San Juan Bautista, what this new deal does is it's actually 25% less. So I've heard it framed like, oh, we're back to square one with the other deal. That's not the case. What we're basically saying with this deal is the 1.25 million, that's what both parties were right at the cusp of providing to us for 24-25 for the services we've already provided. That was the 1.1 for the county and the 150,000 for San Juan Bautista. You were willing to give us that for this year's service. As your partner, we have said, we need your assistance. We're hurting. You had a discussion earlier this evening about your discretionary fund program. We just ended ours. So yeah, we're a partner. We're a partner in this, and we're asking for your support. The escalator, we had dropped from 11 to 8%. When I look at the totality of the original deal that was proposed to both parties and this deal that's proposed to you today, that's $4.7 million less in the 4 years. So I know that there's a comparison of what was provided, about a month ago. That was a deal at 2.0 that was worked out with the ad hocs. Our council heard back. Both parties rejected that deal. And our council took a step back and heard the community, heard from the experts, heard from the fire department that said 3.0 is the minimum we are willing to provide. And that's what that deal is. So compare the original deal to the new deal. It's $4.7 million less. It is built on a fair share for the city of Hollister's taxpayers. We've heard discussion this evening about our taxpayers, keeping those grant dollars for the taxpayers and to benefit the taxpayers here. What we looked at, and the chief probably mentioned it in the meeting with the ad hoc, is we acknowledge that we get a benefit too by providing the extra services in the county and in San Juan. And through that, the chief did a very nice job of putting together those costs and doing a split. So essentially, between the county and San Juan, that's 40% of the total costs of the budget, with the city of Hollister picking up 60%. So that the council, the ad hoc, the council, and ourselves felt that that's a fair deal to provide back to the county and to San Juan Bautista. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other public comment?
no other speaker cards received and seeing no hands raised on Zoom, Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much. Back to the council.
I have no other questions or comments.
Thank you. And just to let everybody know that the city manager and the fire chief are here to answer questions if we need them. Are you not?
No questions right now. I'm heard it all. Yeah.
Thank you. Councilmember Morris Lopez.
Oh, thank you.
Wait, actually, sorry,
Go
can I
ahead.
take mine back? So, so the chief and the city manager of Hollister can answer questions for us?
If you want them to answer a question, ask it, or forever hold your P's and Q's.
I don't know, I just wanted to hear the rest of what city manager of Hollister had to say. He was kind of going down the line.
Did the city manager of Hollister have anything else? This is our fire contract that we're trying to work out. Did you have a?
Yeah, and I apologize if I created any confusion with that. I just wanted to know if I had to prove.
Yeah.
I had put my hand up, and
Well, I mean, this
so
is
I
very,
just wanted to make sure
if I wasn't called upon and there was some questions, I wanted to at least be able to
Yeah,
clarify.
well, I just, for me, this is
Yeah.
very important to our town, so I want the
appreciate
transparency
that.
and I want to hear what you have to say.
No, I think I just said it very fast. I had made some notes to myself. I think I did cover all of that. So, I mean, I'm happy to answer any questions. Again, the fire chief is here. One thing I would clarify, and it's, I mean, splitting hairs on the impact fees. We would ask to seek reimbursement if we had allowable expenses. We're not asking to just collect and have impact fees turned over to us. We do that with the county on a handful of impact fees that we collect on their behalf, where we collect and turn them back over through a process. But we're not asking for fire impact fees to come directly to us. However, if we purchase something and was contemplated in your impact fee study, then we would ask for reimbursement. Most likely with the size of the city and the amount of development, that's probably not a big number. That's probably, as far as a budgetary impact to the city of San Juan, it would probably be relatively very minimal. But because we're treating the terms equally and providing the same terms to both parties, we included that language in there as well.
Got it. Thank you. I have no other comments or.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Nothing. Thank you. Okay, bringing it back to the council.
Again, no comments or.
Sorry.
Oh.
My turn. I mean, bringing it back to the
Sorry.
council to wrap this all up. Let's go through questions one more time. So, a motion can we go back to the slide so that a motion can be read? Sorry, city manager.
I have one more slide.
Carry on.
Sorry.
Nope, not a problem.
The very end of the presentation, there was some discussion about a fire district feasibility study. The Fire Advisory Committee has been considering, or actually in the very early stages of developing a fire district feasibility study. We are working with Baker Tilly on that. And at the last Fire Advisory Committee meeting, it was requested that we come back to our councils to get direction on whether we wanted to continue with a feasibility study.
Councilmember Aranda.
I say go for it. To me, it makes sense. I mean, let's see what's going on. So I say move forward.
Thank you, Councilmember Friels.
Yes, this was the same feasibility study that we approved go through, and so did the city of Hollister and San Benito County. So yeah, let's please continue moving forward.
Agree.
Thank you. Okay. Keep going. It's all you now.
I am so sorry. That was the last part of my presentation. So thank you for that direction.
Thank you. That one. Okay, so a motion, I would like a motion to send Hollister, the city of Hollister, a joint proposal with San Benito County to resubmit the rates already negotiated and to move forward with the feasibility study. And was there anything else? Liz?
Sounds good.
Was that it? Okay, can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Thank you. May I have a second? I'll second it if nobody else does.
Second.
I got it already. Thank you. I got this one. Motion made by Councilmember Frail, seconded by Mayor Jordan. May I have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Aranda,
Yes.
Councilmember Friels.
Yes.
Councilmember Morris Lopez,
Yes.
Mayor Jordan.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you very much. Thank you, City Manager. Thank you, Chief, for attending. We appreciate you. And Supervisor Kosmicki, if you're on your way out, thanks for attending. Thank you very much. Huh? We have the chief on there. Fire chief.
Like the lady.
No, Chief Bedola. Thank you. We can push forward, but as quickly as everybody could go, I would really appreciate it.
Yes.
Informational items, city manager report. Yours is super important. Chief, actually, if you want to move to the front of the line, so we can let you go.
Oh, yeah.
Chief Charlie.
I didn't hear you.
Or we can move slowly. Thanks. Hey, Chief.
Hey, this is me. I'm not prepared for anything. I was here to listen to the meeting. So if Chief Golding is there, I'm sure he could give the report. Is that what we're waiting for?
Yeah, but we can have Roy do it. That's awesome.
Yeah, and if there's any questions on it, you can ask me right there. I've been in training all week, so I jumped on. But I'm here
We
for any
got-
questions. Of it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Hi, welcome. Sorry, thank you. All you.
All right, so I'll just start with my report since I have their numbers anyways. So my report, my projects, obviously, you know, I've been working on the fire contracts, fire RFP, so I'm happy that you voted to move forward with that. So that's exciting. On the 27th of March, we had the Fire Advisory Committee, which would place the RFP on hold, but now it seems like everybody's agreeing to go forward with that. I've also been working on the Arts and Craft Festival debrief. I should have that done by the end of this week, and that has information from all partners, from Recology, from our city staff, from fire, and everybody else that somehow touched this festival. So, and we did, and I participated in the walkthrough on Monday, that following Monday. And the one issue that did come up was the mess that was left behind by the ponies. Yeah, so he agreed to talk to that vendor and have him do a better job in cleaning up. But there was discussion about not bringing the ponies back, but we decided that ponies would be better than something else that would be far less attractive. And then obviously you heard that I've been working on the enterprise fleet management contract. So thank you for passing that. That's been long coming. So the law and fire monthly summary, the sheriff's office had 2 DUIs, one disturbance between local adult residents during a peaceful march. There was no crime, but there was a report taken. One stolen vehicle in the 400 block of Fifth Street that was later recovered in the city of Salinas. An increase of non-authorized off-road vehicles, side-by-sides, and you guys have seen them. I've seen them every day. So they will start enforcing those with citations. Not only, well, mostly to the parents, right?
Oh,
Because a
yeah.
lot of them are juveniles, so.
Kids.
So they are aware of that. And then our deputy that's assigned to the city had 11 traffic citations. I did speak to Sergeant Brian Penny, and their staffing has increased. And with that, they've had more deputies cruising our town on Desi's off days. So you have seen that. They are going to, or they actually assigned a deputy to do encampment cleanups. So they're starting that on the 21st. So they just assigned that deputy. They're going through the policies and procedures of that. I've also authored, with the help of our city attorney, our own policies and procedures that will marry that of the city and the county. So when the sheriff's office does start enforcing encampment issues here in our city, they won't have any jurisdictional issues or policy differences. So it's just going to roll through. As the sheriff said, I'm rolling through the entire county with cleanups with all the county partners. So that's going to happen here in San Juan as well. So just a quick update on that. That wasn't on my slides, but that information has been coming to me within the last couple of weeks. And I've been attending meetings with the county and with the sheriff's office and the city of Hollister in regards to encampments and the cleanup. So that has been discussed. They are aware of the one encampment that we have here, and they are aware of at least 3 to 4 other people that are considered unhoused in our community or living in their vehicles and such. So services have been, they're going to start reaching out to those people as well. And then fire, they had 1 fire in the county, 12 medical calls, 5 vehicle accidents, 1 within the city, which was at 156 at the Alameda. And then 3 inspections, residential solar one, special events, which was the arts and crafts fair, and weed abatement. So, and they check in. Charlie comes in, checks in, sends us messages via text, and he also checks in with our planning person, Ilse, and our code enforcement officer. So it's a combined effort with all of them. So. And then I included a slide on flock views. So we've increased the amount of flock cameras within the city. So now you have one at the Alameda and San Juan Hollister. And that one we can, it's just like the one on top of the fire station where you can zoom in and you can actually play back and such. So if there is a crime and somebody tries to make an escape towards the county, we can capture them on video. And we can do playback. So all this has been shared with the sheriff's office and CHP, who are constantly monitoring our flock system. We as city employees, because we're not law enforcement, we don't get any type of activations on our phones or anything when a stolen vehicle is cruising through our town or a vehicle that's wanted any type of crime. We don't get those notifications because we're not law enforcement, but they do. And they've reported back to me that the system is working for them. We also have one at the roundabout, which we can play back as well. And then we also placed one again in the area of the Alameda, but this one, I can pan towards Copperleaf. So that'll help us there. I am a little concerned with the new construction on the far side now. Now there's going to be an entranceway off the 156 into the city. So on that back entrance, that I just saw that the other day, and I was thinking, well, maybe we can put up another camera there. So I am thinking that. I'm thinking in the future for that. And then obviously the one up at the water tower, which that one really helps us zoom in on the park, the traffic. There was a vehicle accident, the one I just mentioned earlier. We were able to capture that on the camera and share some information with fire personnel on that as well. So that one's been working. And then the following slide, Liz, if you can push it. Number of vehicles captured on our system. It's a large number, 235,000, right? Almost 236,000 vehicles passing through our system being captured. Again, I did not break down the amount of stolen vehicles or vehicles that are wanted in crimes because I don't really get those stats, but this is the amount of vehicles that are being captured. So, yeah, it's really good. I was on the system this last week due to the increase in motorcycle activity, right? With the 4th of July events coming up, and I just typed in motorcycle, and at least it gave me 4 to 5 pages of all these different motorcycles coming through town, and you can capture, you can zoom in on their license plates and everything else like that. So this system is really going to help us out during the summer. I mean, I know we have a couple of events, but summer's going to be hot, so this will help us and will help the sheriff's office as well. So I just kind of want to highlight the flock system because we mention it, but then we don't mention it, but this is what it's starting to look like on our end. So, and then code enforcement update. Oscar has 25 new code enforcement cases, and that includes buildings without permits, parking and zoning violation. Again, he's working with our planning person with Ilse. One of the issues was a historical building with that was painted in a different color that you saw in Bonito Link. They worked hand in hand on that, so they've been working some good cases together. And then he had 3 stop orders for permitted work. Those stop orders have decreased, so I think the word has gotten out that there is some type of enforcement for people doing work without permits. And they've come in and they've actually been really cooperative. There's nobody that's not been cooperative. So they, a lot of explaining, a lot of bringing them up to code and letting them know that, that we are paying attention to code violations. So 14 parking citations from vehicles for sale to parking in unrestricted areas during festivals. So I think that was mentioned earlier. Sometimes people don't respect the do not park signs and just kind of, park behind the unrestricted area or restricted area. So Oscar was out there at the last festival making some citations. So that wasn't too popular, but he got some citations done. And then coordinating with San Benito Health Foundation staff regarding the maintenance issues on their property. They did put up new fencing on there. I'm not too happy with it, but we're going to do some follow-up on that as far as a better fencing system for that. And then also most recently, there have been some properties. The one behind the cemetery is, I'm thinking about that one because that one we talked about last year and how it hasn't been kept. And now with fire season coming, I worked with Oscar just this morning. I said, hey, we need to start notifying some of these property owners for upkeep. So I heard the community talk about it earlier. We are paying attention to that. We are working with different property owners for that. We've also made contact with the property owner for the entrance to town. There's two empty buildings there, the old JJ's. So we've notified them of like, hey, what are you going to do with this building type of thing? Because it's starting to be a nuisance. So we're working with that. So again, we're listening. People are coming in. People are constantly calling us with different violations, and we're trying to do something. There was also, as on here, it's not on my slide, but there was an issue that was brought up last month regarding signs, downtown businesses. Oscar has worked on a letter with Ilse that they're going to distribute it within the next week for everybody downtown that has signs. So it's going to everybody's going to get a letter that is in violation. And that includes different neon signs. That includes people dining on the sidewalk when they're not supposed to eat in the sidewalk, just different things like that, right? So we're really going through the code. We listened to the concern city council had, and we're going to notify everybody. So it might be an unpopular thing. You might hear from your constituents, but that's what the city council has asked for, and that's what we're doing. So, and that's my update. So hopefully that was quick.
Thank you. Councilmember Aranda.
The only comment I have is great work. Or actually two comments. One of them, the flock camera, whenever that other road opens up, definitely I would say put one up. Second, when you go out for the signage issues, just be very nice when you hand them the paper. Answer any questions. Don't just drop it off and walk.
Give them candy.
Just please, we don't really have a good reputation with the businesses, I would say. And so when we do this, that's just, they're already struggling. That's taking away something. So just easy and smile, and hopefully, see if you can answer any questions, but just take. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying, if you're gonna do it, just do it nicely. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Friels.
Thanks. And thanks for the great work with the rental car fleet. When do we get them?
I thought you were going to ask that. They were ready. I have my notes back there. I don't have the exact date, but hopefully sooner than later.
Soon?
But yeah, I'll report back.
Yeah, you're going to see at least 3 happy Public Works guys being able to get into a vehicle that actually has a heater and
no
working
duct tape.
windshield wipers and
no duct tape.
And no duct tape. Yes. Yeah.
That's my goal.
Great. And so the code enforcement gets one of the little pickups also?
Yes, I'm getting rid of that.
Getting rid of the cop car?
Like cop car.
Okay.
That doesn't serve its purpose.
Great. Yeah. Bundle deal. Everybody take it all.
Thank
Great.
you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Morris Lopez.
Yes, good work on the fleet. And I have a question. Is the pool car a Mustang?
It's a Toyota Corolla or a
Okay.
Camry, I think. Toyota Camry, sorry.
Oh,
Yeah,
darn.
hybrid.
Okay. Yeah, and then I heard you mention something about the unhoused and encampment. Is the city gonna model what the county's doing?
It's exactly the same. All three
So-
jurisdictions are mirroring.
So then who will be going out to the encampments or unhoused people? Will it be our staff like you and Oscar, or
Uh,
like approaching the individuals that are unhoused, like they're having a river cleanup. We only
Correct.
have one tented person. And now we have maybe a few people, a handful living in cars.
It will be code enforcement
Okay.
with the deputy
Okay.
and county services as well.
Do
So
we, okay, and then I know with the county and this law, we are, I don't know if we voted on this or it's part of the county. We have to have the ability to store their stuff for 90 days. Is that gonna be something we're doing as well?
that's all part of the plan, yes.
Okay,
I still
so-
have to come up with the actual plan for
So
it.
going to Home Depot and getting like some storage.
We will see what the budget allows us to
They're
pay
like
for.
400, $500 if you get one. It's like 12 by 12 or something. Okay, and then, what else was I gonna ask? No, I think everything's great. One thing I'm gonna put, I'm really glad that you're addressing the children on the go-karts, I guess is what you call them. And, also the e-bikes with kids especially, you know, that really needs to be looked at. And then I live on a small street and I know every Friday night people love fried chicken sandwiches, but it's like, it's a real circus down there. People are parking on the wrong direction. They're parking. It's not fun on a Friday night. And even like nights when there's trivia too. It's like, especially Friday though. And I'm just thinking of safety, basically, you know. So I don't know if you want to
Not-
eyeball it some Friday.
Yeah, I can pass it out. I'll pass
Yeah.
that on to our deputy and have
Yeah.
him sit out there.
Yeah, and I
Mhm.
think the worst hours are probably when everyone gets home from work in the evening. And I don't blame them because it's really good chicken. I get to walk over. I don't have to double park.
Thank you for that. Did we use the flock camera to help find that vehicle in Salinas? Was that used, the stolen vehicle that
I
was
don't-
found in
I didn't
Salinas?
ask. I'm not sure. I'd have to ask.
Oh, okay. Just curious. Yeah,
Yeah. I'll ask.
absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you very much. I appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you.
Charlie, we're good. I don't think we have any questions. Do you have a question do you have a question? Yeah, public comment. Sure.
The electrified, what do you call them? Golf carts that everybody's driving around now, four-wheel drive electrified, golf carts. And do we have a resolution or a code on the books? If you plan to enforce, says planned enforcement, is there a resolution or a code that defines non-authorized off-road vehicle? The other question I have is, how much of a deterrent have the boulders at the roundabout been to stop big rigs from entering the roundabouts? Because I've gotten tired of emailing Roy and calling. Every day I see a big rig going through the roundabout. Not only the roundabout, entering town, they're not supposed to enter town. So it looks like one of the rocks was either hit or moved, and I think it looks like there may be one more added. I don't think, I haven't actually seen with my own eyes a big rig trying to go through the roundabout. But it appears to me that they're able to do it because I see them every day. So do we need to move the rocks out more? And he mentioned flocked cameras. I know we have a flock camera there at the roundabout. Are they able to, I'm sure they record these trucks going through the roundabout. Are we able to give any citations to these trucks for entering the roundabout and entering town? So hopefully he can answer my questions, but I don't know that.
Thank you, Michael. Those are great comments and questions. We appreciate that. Moving right along. Chief, I'm sorry. We have nothing further for you. Thank you very much for all you do. Keep your guys safe.
Thank you much. Have a good night.
Have a good night.
You too.
You're up. City manager's report.
Okay, thank you, Mayor, members of the council, public. I'll try to go through this as quickly as I can. I'm so sorry. There's a lot happening all the time.
You do you.
Um,
Want to take it away.
Okay. So, since assuming the role of interim city manager on January 6th, I've been focused on strengthening internal operations, improving community engagement, and addressing key infrastructure and policy matters. This report provides an update on efforts through mid-April of 2025, highlighting significant actions, ongoing projects, and upcoming initiatives. So we'll just take it one step at a time. I continue to meet one-on-one with stakeholders, members in the community to address internal operations concerns. Staff attended multiple community meetings to update groups on city processes and strengthen engagement, including attending the Historical Society meeting. I also attended HRB Planning Commission, and I also attended a Fire Advisory Committee meeting. Met with San Benito County staff regarding the Sphere of Influence MOU, which you guys approved tonight. Thank you so much. Those are very, very simple changes, and a huge thank you to Dan DeVries, who was hugely helpful in pushing that forward. Yes, sorry, planning area it was about being notified of what's happening on our border with the county. Thank you for that clarification, Councilmember Fields. I followed up with Romas San Juan School District on the San Juan School construction project. We did ask for that project to be presented tonight, but they've asked for more time. They're not quite ready. So they'll be hopefully presenting next month on an update on the construction plans for San Juan School. Met with Supervisor Colin Kosmicki. It was a meet and greet because we hadn't officially met. Very briefly we met, but this was a nice sit down with him. It was very productive and informative conversation, and hope to have future communication with the supervisor. Met with staff, engaged with Mr. Avila on the gas station project on the Alameda. Attended the intergovernmental meeting hosted here in San Juan Bautista. Attended City of Hollister's council meeting virtually. Attended San Benito County Board of Supervisors meetings, both in person and virtually. And okay, next slide, please. We are currently in budget preparation for fiscal year 25-26. So we've initiated discussions with staff on the development of what the budget process will look like, and it does appear to look different than what's been done before. I have a different style, and so my expectations are different. So we're working through that. I am really working with our department heads on what the budget is and what it looks like, and trying to work through everyone's questions. So we're establishing timelines and setting clear expectations for staff participation in the process. And our goal is to present an initial draft to the council and the community next month, with several special meetings planned to focus exclusively on budget discussions. So next slide, please. Then under leadership and development, conducted final interviews for the maintenance worker position that we had full-time. We have extended 2 offers, one permanent, one provisional for maintenance worker 2s. They were excellent candidates. And I'm hoping that I can convince you to make my provisional permanent when we do the budget discussions. They are an excellent addition to the team, and I'm hoping between our new fleet that's coming in and an infusion of young, enthusiastic staff that we can really start to make a difference in the community and get the help that they need. So all the discussion about weeds and all of the different challenges we have, that I'm hoping that this infusion of staff will be hugely beneficial in that process. I've also met with 4-Leaf to review complex planning projects and staffing needs. So that's an ongoing discussion. We're also, okay, so under leadership and development, one other thing that we're going to do is we're going to do a staff in service on April 19th. And I think I've announced it a couple of times, but that is a for sure thing. It's a mandatory meeting where the staff is going to get together and talk about our strengths, opportunities, and our challenges and how we can work through those to move the city forward. So you'll hear more about the outcome of that soon. Next slide, please. Just a brief update. We just continue to engage with our state and federal stakeholders to advocate for key city priorities, water and wastewater compliance project, funding opportunities for the drinking water pipeline development, and the potential ADROP program funding, any opportunities to fund ADROP, as well as the fire hydrant upgrades. And I can say that because I just said those very words to a stakeholder today, fire hydrant upgrades. We submitted earmark requests with Senator Adam Schiff and Senator Alex Padilla, and we are preparing to submit earmark requests for Representative Lofgren by the end of this month. Next slide, please. So infrastructure development initiatives, we did post the RFP for the design of the drinking water pipeline on the city's website. We continue to have discussions with San Benito Water Management District regarding contract negotiations. And we're still conferring with staff on the salt management report. We have a lot of data to gather from the city side that's going to help us finalize that report. So that is still in process. And we've had internal staff discussions on the water transmission pipeline as well as the Microbi project. We had a great water study session here with the council. And I have met with the Regional Water Quality Control Board regarding our compliance project. Next slide, please. We are continuing to meet with grant consultants. I had a meeting with Adams Ashley Consulting. We discussed potential for CDBG funds for the city and a citywide income survey that would help us really determine what our income levels are in the city. And I've also met with M&S, their grant writing arm specifically, because they have had great success with securing water funding, and we need all the funding we can get for our compliance projects. Next slide, please. So next steps for me, to continue to prove operational effectiveness, finalize that salt management report. Obviously, we're going to have the staff retreat on the 19th. So that's all I got. I'm running out of voice.
Thank you. Questions, comments, concerns from the council?
Yeah, when do you sleep and go to lunch and eat? In other words, great job. You're doing a great job. You're busy, and thank you for everything you do.
Thank you. Councilmember Frales?
Thank you. And thanks for including the employees and the staff in some type of a, open discussion, because sometimes they're afraid to speak, because of reprisals. But thank you. That's good call. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilmember Morris Lopez?
Yes, thank you for the thorough report. I really appreciate the work that you've been doing with the city and with the staff. And I really wholeheartedly agree with you to infuse the public works crew with young, enthusiastic, just more staff, because it's obvious that we have issues with the citizens who are here tonight, saying, hey, there's weeds growing. There's only so much they can do when you're down 2 people or 1.5 person. So I think it's time that we give our city a lot of TLC, and that's the only way we're going to do it. I like the fact that we're going to get bigger pressure with our fire, what is it? Fire hydrants? I was saying extinguishers. That'll go along with our proactive, whole fire suppression, project that we're doing. And thank you for that. I think that was very important, that you presented those slides to us and that we could all be in agreement here 4-0. That was a hard exercise for all of us. So I appreciate that. And where are you going on the retreat?
Thank you. We're going to St. Francis Retreat Center.
Oh, you're going to love the food. The chefs up there, they cook really good and you'll enjoy the setting. So enjoy. Thank you.
Thanks. Tell Sarah I said hi when you're there. N- It does. I can't think anymore. When do we get to meet the newbies?
We're hoping to get them started the last week in April.
Okay.
That's our goal.
Okay, thank you.
When it comes to the hydrants, it's volume, not pressure. Volume, not pressure. More volume. Fire trucks do the pressure.
So does the,
Yeah.
so does this.
'Cause some of those little hydrants hardly put out much water. Yeah.
They're wharf hydrants. and
Mike's
that's
neighborhood's
supposed
on
to
a
be
1-inch
used-
main, so yeah, they're 2-inch. Well, by now you think it's probably 1-inch. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But there's one across the way at the apartments.
Yeah, those are wharf hydrants and not supposed to be used for fire hydrants.
Well, that's all we had.
Yeah, oh, absolutely, I know. So it's nice that we're looking at that, yeah.
Makes me happy.
It's the little things. And thanks for reaching out to our supervisor. It's nice to hear about the conversations that have been had and to actually see him in the audience and representing. Council reports. Thank you, Michael.
Oh, Rick, don't forget Rick.
I just have one question, and I'm gonna ask this question very carefully because I do not, how should I say? No disrespect to anybody here. The water study session on March 25th with the city council. My question is, was that the entire city council? And was that offered to the public? I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall. Does that constitute a violation of the Brown Act, since I have the city attorney here? If the council meets as a whole, not in a public setting, when the public's not invited, does that violate the Brown Act? Was it an announced public meeting?
Yes,
Okay.
it was agendized.
I believe you were in Arizona.
Oh, okay, my bad, then say no disrespect to you then, my bad.
Yeah, you were here, Michael.
Was I here?
You were here.
So.
And we
that
all
was
said, I
already-
thought you were gone and sorry to be having
It-
a conversation, but
Okay.
yes,
It
we're
was
not supposed to do that, but yes, you
a
were
separate-
sitting right there.
It was not a separate meeting.
was
It was a
not.
city council meeting. Okay, that's where I was thrown off.
It was a
didn't say
special
city
meeting,
Council
yeah.
meeting. I thought it was
Thank you.
a separate, I still got time.
I know.
Okay, I thought it was a separate meeting, but so since if I can ask the question, if that occurred, would that be a violation of the? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for remembering that part. Recreation. Hi, Caitlin. Thank you for playing with us so late.
Hi. Okay, I'm gonna try to speed run this without leaving out important stuff. So, because I know it's getting late. Sure. my report. All right, are you seeing my report?
We are, thank you.
Okay, great. So here we go. This is something that I am going to start doing quarterly. This will be about the winter that has just passed, and I know that we're a little bit into spring, but I'll cover winter, and then I'll also talk about what's coming up in spring. But since this is our first one, I want to kind of reestablish some knowledge and some information. We're going to go all the way back to the formation of the department, and then we'll talk about the responsibilities of this department and all that entails. And then I'll also talk about progress on those things, and I'll try and keep that really brief. And then the next quarterly report will definitely be shorter than this one, I promise. So let's look back to, there were focus groups put together to determine what people wanted to see in town. And one of the things that came out of that was they wanted to see more recreation. And the focus groups determined that the main ideas that, or the main themes that kept coming up were people wanted something for the youth, they wanted something for seniors, and that they wanted to make the new residents feel like part of the old established community. And in lieu of a proper needs assessment being done, these were the things that created the initial asks for this department. There's been some progress made in each of these categories, and I think that you'll recognize some of these logos and such. We've got some things for youth, we've got some things for seniors, and we've got some things for the community at large. And a lot of this was done with having established a recreation department and employing a full-time employee. Thank you for that. But also through partnerships with other organizations, we've been able to put on a lot that way as well. We've only existed for 18 months, and we've made some significant progress on all of these initial asks. And those focus groups didn't just come up with the initial asks for this department, but they also defined some of the next steps that the department could take in the initial stages of development. And those next steps include things like the registration system and accounting processes and policies and other procedures. And I think that the variety of those next steps highlights the breadth of responsibilities of your recreation coordinator. And to give a clearer picture of that, I've built this diagram to show you those responsibilities and how they all relate to each other. Now, I know that this array of boxes kind of looks complicated at first glance, and it's because there is a lot that goes into building a department from zero to something. And it's a multi-layered project. So this lays out those layers for you and the layers that make up those layers. And you'll see these arrows pointing to this one box. And that one box is programs, classes, and event development. That box is what everybody thinks recreation is: sports and food truck events, camps and art classes like music. That's what fits into that category. Arguably, these are the most important visible parts of a recreation department, but it's only one small piece of the puzzle. I'm going to take you quickly, one chunk at a time here. We're going to look first at this one. This major section has been labeled standard duties, which are the duties that all departments do. That these are kind of the bread and butter. You've got park and program development, marketing and outreach, vendorization, donation, volunteers, partnerships. These are all the things that makes kind of, like I said, the bread and butter. It's the heart of it. In here, you've got the programs and classes and events. You've also got in marketing and outreach, that's all those promotional materials and reaching out with flyers and mailers and social media and all that. And donations and volunteers, those are kind of self-explanatory. Volunteers are what make anything possible, especially for a city like ours. That's a huge part of it. You'll see these two little pink stars on this slide, and these are two of the things that the focus groups highlighted. And you'll see them on the other slides as well as we go through. I just wanted to identify that those are what people spoke out about. One of those is partnership with the school district, which is already happening. This next section is I've titled executive duties. These are the higher level department head type duties. You've got building systems for organization and management of all kinds. Departmental policy development, because with no department existing before, that all has to get done. Big picture strategic development and planning work, tech, the list goes on. This I've titled extra duties, but maybe additional is a more conventional word to put there. But these are tasks that were organized under the recreation department just due to the nature of us being a small town where we all do double, triple duty, because that's the only way that things work. And these are, we've got special events and then that city grant, the community fund program that I was talking about. Although now special event management is under planning, for about a year, the special event management was part of what I was doing, the streamlining of it, the updating of it, and the managing of the events themselves. That was part of what I was doing here. So this is looking back at all of it. These are pieces of the recreation puzzle, and it is complicated, and we are, as a city team, that's the way that anything works, is working together on these things and getting help with the things that someone's got these skills and I've got these skills, and we can work to make those work together. Now, while I've been putting on those community events that you've seen, and many of you have attended, if not all of you have attended, I've also been working behind the scenes building necessary infrastructure to allow this department to grow. Of course, I've touched on each of these a little bit, but let's in the next slide, I'm going to show you some of the foundational work that's kind of taken the lion's share of the department's time in the last 18 months. Programs, classes, events, and all of those things, that has been a big focus in the past. Like I said, you've been to some of those events, and those events aren't going away. That's the face of the rec department. That's what we're here for. We've done a lot of outreach to third-party vendors along with volunteers. Those vendors, those third-party partners, are going to be how we get things like kids camps. We don't have staff for kids camps, but we can work with people who do. And we've been reaching out to a lot of people that way. The volunteer program, we're hopefully going to be piloting, not just the one-off volunteers for events and the cleanups and those types of things, though those volunteers are absolutely essential. We're hopefully going to be piloting a more long-term volunteer program where it's people who commit more of their time more regularly, so we can get more done. And then you see in the middle here, this is all that executive level stuff of policy making and mission, vision, and values defining, and then those additional duties. So these are what has been taking up a lot of the time. Apologies. There we go. So this is a calendar of the 24-25 kind of cycle of events. From February of 2024 to January of 25, this rec department put on 16 events. On top of doing all the policy and stuff, all that background work, we put on 16 events and programs, which on a program per employee basis outpaces all of our neighboring agencies. Morgan Hill, Gilroy, Hollister, the North County agency. And that's not to speak ill of the neighbors at all. That's to underscore the importance of the direction that we're moving in the future. And that's to pare down quantity and build up quality. So to ensure the long-term sustainability and balance within this department, the department's going to shift from high frequency events to a few events that become traditions. And so we used the most successful stuff from last year and we're building it out this year. So you'll see on here, we've got Junior Giants. That's an absolute staple here in San Juan Bautista. We've got Play Music on the Porch Day, which was by far our most successful event last year. And so we're obviously going to do that again. People loved it. We've got then movie nights and singles events. Those are the two things that people have asked about the most. When they see me, these are the two things they ask for. And so we're going to focus on doing those. And then also we're going to focus on our partnership with Anzar High School. And not only is that a great way to keep us in front of the community and build the face for the department, but it's also a great way to bring in volunteers, support our youth, and bring them into the fold also. And by shifting to a building tradition model, we can then focus on also getting some of that foundation, that structural infrastructure work done in the department, as well as then being able to then strategically build on what we've already had. So that's then bringing in new ideas this year. We've got some things in the works. These are not winter, but these are what we're moving into. We're looking at Girls on the Run, which is a running program for 3rd to 5th and then 6th to 8th graders. And it's a partnership with another organization where they kind of build the structure the same way that Junior Giants is. It's Little League in a box and we put it on and we have something for our kids. Girls on the Run is similar. We're working on building out a pickup sports league. There's been significant interest from the adults in town on pickup sports. So we're working on that. And then Porch Sounds, which is a new addition to our Play Music on the Porch Day. Play Music on the Porch Day is the last Saturday in August. And then so every last Saturday of the month, starting this last month in March, out by Windmill, we are having people play music, acoustic music. And we're using the bands who are registered for Play Music on the Porch Day so that not only do they get a little practice session in, but it's kind of to warm people up to this big culminating event at the end. And so we're taking our traditions, we're building on them, and that's the way that we're going to go forward. Now, we'll talk about what we did this last winter. We focused on, these are some of the areas that we focused on from December to February. I'm going to jump right into our programs and classes and event development. This is what we did. We put on 4 different events in winter. One was the Wintertime Flicktacular. We worked with Joey's Toy Drive. We put on a movie. We watched Home Alone and worked with Joey's Toy Drive, it's a young kid who decided he wanted to help the kids in his community. And so he puts on a toy drive every year and he came out to work with us at the Wintertime Flicktacular. He is still very interested in bringing toys and such to kids in our community because he sees a need for it and that's his passion. So we're talking with him and seeing what works for both him and the city. We went to the Anzar College and Career Fair. That was, I think, a very valuable endeavor. We got a lot of volunteer forms in front of kids who need volunteer hours, and they got interested in, oh, what is recreation? And oh, the city has stuff. Okay, cool. So that I think was a really fruitful endeavor for us. And then we had 2 community cleanups. One on December 7th and then one in February. And that's a partnership with Integrated Waste, where they give us all the materials to host and people come on down and they wander around town picking up stuff and cleaning up the streets, which are already pretty clean because people really keep this community clean, but they're every little bit helps, you know? So that's winter. And so let's take a peek at what's coming up in spring. In spring, we're carrying on porch sounds. Like I said, it's the last Saturday of every single month. So there's actually one coming up, not this Saturday, but next, the 26th. And then there's one in May and June and July. They're all down by Windmill from 3 to 5. And then Junior Giants isn't a spring thing, but Junior Giants registration is a spring thing. So we've got that open. It opened April 1st. And we've got an in-person registration event for people who just need a hand with the online registration or tried to submit it and it doesn't work or they don't have a device. We have an in-person registration event at the community hall on May 1st. And then we've got another community cleanup coming up here in May. And so that's what we've got program-wise for the spring events. And the end. Did I speed run it fast enough? I don't think so, but I tried.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Aranda.
Great job, Caitlin, as always.
you.
Two comments. Just keep up the community cleanup stuff. I really like to see that. I think it's really good. Hopefully it picks up more traction. And second, if somehow I would love, I think I made this comment to our city manager as well, but I really want to see us utilizing our community center more for recreational activities. I know we rent it out for quinceañeras, weddings and whatnot, but that community center belongs to our community, the people here of San Juan. So I would love to see more events happening there. So hopefully maybe one of these days as a suggestion, you know, and I get this a lot from a lot of community members in my area and also when I'm walking the town. But a lot of community members also want to see stuff that has to do with fitness. So maybe like a Zumba class or something that people can go, maybe pay or it's subsidized and be part of some class that does fitness. I think that would benefit both the younger crowd and maybe some of the seniors. So hopefully maybe in the future we can look at that. But other than that, keep up the great work.
Thank you, Councilmember Friels.
No questions. Thank you for the presentation.
Thank you, Councilmember Morris Lopez.
Thank you, Caitlin. And this just proves that there has to be a lot of planning and organization. And I think that you need to clone yourself because how did you get this all done? It's a lot. Thank you for all that. And I like the area where you want to build tradition because our town lost a lot of staple traditions, and Scott can attest to this. We lost our Christmas, what was it, the bonfire. We lost the rodeo barbecue a long time ago. We do have the Christmas parade, which is great, and I had mentioned this to city manager Ashley about maybe it's next year the rec can maybe sponsor a small Easter parade, or maybe we can do a 4th of July parade. I think that would be fun and maybe start a new tradition. But I like all the ideas out here, and this just proves it takes a lot of work. It's not just about bubbles and hot dogs. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Caitlin. I have a question on Girls on the Run. If we have a couple of runs in San Juan, can we do that here instead of Monterey? Just as question, suggestion, you don't have to answer now.
The Girl on the Run is the it's an organization that it
Understood.
gives like the coach training and all that. And what it is in practicality is you host a practice twice a week, and then after 10 weeks, if you want to, then you go participate in your region's 5K. You don't have to. It's all really low pressure. So that's why the 5K is in Monterey, is because Girls on the Run, the organization regionally, is hosting it. But I was actually looking into, what if we did something like this simply San Juan inspired or San Juan based? And it is something I'm looking into. I just don't know that we're ready to do it this year.
Okay, thank you for that. Understood.
Yeah.
That's all I have. Thank you so much. Looking forward to Junior Giants coming up. All right. Michael? Silly me. You only have 3 minutes to do it, though.
No, real quick. Caitlin, I was just wondering, I haven't got a chance to talk to you recently. How many signups do we have for Junior Giants?
When I last checked, it was 57.
Yeah, super cool. Thank you. Okay. Thank you very much, Caitlin. Have a good rest of your evening. Thanks for hanging out with us for so long.
Yeah.
City council members, regional and updates. I mean, regional updates and announcements all in one, both at the same time. Sorry for Liz for doing that to you.
No worries. I don't have much to report. I'm on vacation and I haven't attended anything. So hopefully that makes it easy. No announcements at this moment.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're done?
Done. Making it easy.
You're the best. Councilmember Fritz.
No announcements, and I missed the aging area on aging because they had it on a Wednesday, and I had it on my calendar Thursday because they normally on Thursdays, but it was one of those weird piggyback days, so I missed it. But tomorrow I have a meeting tomorrow, and they're zooming. They have a new location in Watsonville now, so that's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's
I'm
right.
still
that's
not
right.
driving there. I'm going to Zoom because we have an 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
So, and then no announcements.
Thank you. Councilmember Morris Lopez.
I attended the intergovernmental meeting here.
Go closer to your face, please.
Oh, we had the intergovernmental meeting here on the first Thursday of the month, or was it Wednesday?
Sure.
Yeah. And we elected new officers. Supervisor Zanger is our chair. Our vice chair is whom?
Mayor Stevens.
Mayor Stevens. And we continued the subject of, I think, the homeless cleanup. And we're deciding, coming back and deciding the focus and perhaps the frequency of the meetings. Idea was thrown out there by Council Member Resendez, maybe quarterly meetings, since we're an advisory group. So I look forward to that. And then tomorrow, this week on Thursday, I have the monthly COG meeting. So that'll be interesting to hear any updates on Highway 25 and also what I do want to mention is that the mayor and I went to Capitol last week on Wednesday to represent District 29. And one of the things that, the budget thing is looking very iffy on a lot of grants. Yeah, but there is a grant that I think would be really awesome to ask for is the ATP funding. They said there was money for maintenance of roads, but specifically they mentioned money for the active transportation program. And I know our former assistant city manager was really involved in that with our city a couple years ago. So maybe we can bring some money in to the city for that. And then announcement quickly, this Saturday at Luna Gallery, there'll be a presentation by Green Foothills Environmental Group and also a presentation by Val Lopez from the Alma Mutsun tribe. And so it's free to everybody to show up. And I think if you go to Facebook or social media, it'll have the times. I forget what the time was. So don't quote me on it, but it's this Saturday and I think it begins after 4 or 5, but you can verify that on social media. Thank you.
Thank you. LAFCO, we met and talked about moving forward with the MSRs for both cities, waiting on the city of Hollister, and probably moving forward without their general plan. They had a referendum to repeal their general plan, so it's kind of hard to move forward with a sphere of influence, MSR without that. We're moving forward with the city of San Juan's MSR, and holding off on the SOI part until we can include that in. Bringing back the wastewater MSR next month or the following month. And it was with Councilmember Morris Lopez up at the Capitol, and a couple of others that other people have already talked about or not talked about. I don't know. I have been to every City of Hollister and Board of Supervisor meeting relating to the fire services from when we had our meeting in March. I spoke on some and not at others, reiterating what the council has already stated. It's been an interesting ride.
Mhm.
That's all I have. Thank you very much.
Madam Mayor, can I say one last thing? Sorry, it's just an announcement real quick. I forgot to mention April 19th, Hollister Earth Day, I believe.
Yes.
It's a big event. I just want to tell people, like, get out there, take a look. It's a good time. It's going to be my first time actually going there, but I hear great things and I look forward to seeing everyone there.
I will be there as well. Thank you very much. Anything else for the good of the council? Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Council Member Aranda, seconded by Council Member Morris Lopez. May I have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Aranda,
No, I'm just kidding. Yes.
Councilmember Frios,
Yes.
Councilmember Morris Lopez,
Yes.
and Mayor Jordan.
Yes, 9:54. Thank you very much. Thank you all for attending and speaking.